all 4 matches. Baji with a touch in the midfield, not able to control it with 3 defenders on him. Now Dikwa forward onto the foot of Robbie Mertz. Over to the left, Danny Rivera. Mertz then loses the touch. Matt Miazga will push it forward as Brandon Vasquez inside of the center circle. Vasquez feels footsteps sneaking up behind him. It was in the form of DZ Harmon, the native of Liberia, 26 years of age. Santi Arias will be fouled about 40-45 yards away. Cincinnati will have a free kick. Let's see if they send the center backs. It looks like they will. Give Lucho Acosta a chance to dial something up. Of course, Lucho had the game-winning goal on Saturday night as this building erupted. 1-0 was the final against Chicago. Acosta with his right foot towards the far post. Vasquez will head it back across the box. Miazga's there on a header. It skips just wide, was not deflected by Pittsburgh. As Jamali White, the Jamaican, dove to his left, just in case that ball was on frame.
This ball was just swung in from Acosta, found Vasquez at the back post. Then Miazga got up well in his central position. He headed down to the right post. Able to get it on target, but so far looking at that early set piece, looks like FC Cincinnati have a clear height advantage. We've talked so much in past broadcasts and past games about the effectiveness of FC Cincinnati with their set pieces. So I get to watch them train and practice a lot of time during the week.
A shot at a ripple the side netting as Albert Dikwa got a ball and snuck around Miazga. Ian Murphy came over to help out. It'll set up the match's first corner kick, and it comes for the visitors.
We talked about Dikwa, and he was one of the players that would definitely cause FC Cincinnati some threats, some challenges. Typical fashion, it was a longer pass, direct play. It turned out for a corner kick.
Robbie Mertz will take it to the left of Alec Can. Low driven ball knocked away by Wobo. Comes out to Etu. Junior Etu sends it back to Mertz across the 18. Hagelin's the first to find it on the header. Then Arias looking for it, not able to get there. It's Gaddis who sent it to Vasquez. Brandon was trying to send it back in the direction of Ray. Ends up skipping out off Pittsburgh in the midfield. And Cincinnati will have a throw-in. Sixth minute at TQL Stadium. Scoreless thus far. Cincinnati will work it along their back line off the throw-in. Hagelin and Miazga. Now Vasquez on the near side as he is swarmed by those trademark yellow jerseys from Pittsburgh. Miazga on to Murphy on the left side. Moreno in the midfield. He did not start on Saturday. Wobodo did, but after being suspended Wednesday, still fresh for this one. This wild month of games for FC Cincinnati will finally come to an end Saturday on Vancouver, albeit with the longest trip of the year. They will leave Thursday after training to have an extra day in the Pacific Northwest. Arias on the near side. Trying to get to Acosta. Vasquez will muscle to get a touch, but it wasn't clean, and Joe Farrell was able to keep it away. Obino Wobono is whistled for a foul in the midfield, knocking down Etu. It's interesting, if you remember back to 2017, when we called a lot of those Open Cup matches, 2 yellow cards put you on a suspension. Remember, GB didn't play in that New York Red Bulls match in the semifinal because he was suspended after picking up a yellow card in the quarterfinal. Nobody on FC Cincinnati has more than one, so nobody is on a watch for a potential suspension unless they were to get a red card in this match for a semifinal in August, which is good news. And I believe the cards reset for the final, so that's even better news for FC Cincinnati should we get to that point.
Well, so far, the game's as we expected. Pittsburgh, I think, are showing good defensive shape. They've become somewhat compact. I think FC Cincinnati have looked a little hurried, if I'm being honest. I'm sure they're anxious to kind of score. They know that player for player, they're the stronger team. They have to show a little bit more patience, I think, in the attack.
Danny Griffin into the final third for Pittsburgh. Turned away by Obino Wobodo. Now Moreno will put a little pressure on him. One of the players for Pittsburgh is down in the midfield. was Junior Etu, native of Republic of Congo. Now he's back up to his feet. 8 minutes gone, no goals yet in this one. Sent towards the box. There was some contact there, and the foul's to be called on Pittsburgh. Santi Arias was knocked down. And DZ Harmon can't believe that he didn't pick up that he was whistled for the foul instead of being the one who got fouled. He was trying to set it up. Those two kind of had their arms wrapped around each other.
No, I think the referee got it right. I think he was running out of space.
Gaddis on the far side working with Ian Murphy in the midfield. I've seen one shot so far. That was for Cincinnati. Murphy trying to get forward to Gaddis. Got deflected. Ends up on the foot of Arturo Ordonez. Ordonez on the USL Team of the Week for the second consecutive week. Luke Biasi will work from the near side, inside of the final third. Puts it onto the foot of Griffin. Deflected away. Gaddis will find it. It has Baji right at midfield, who then sends it back to Gaddis. For Ray, it's his second Open Cup start this year. Back to Matt Miazga. Now over to Ian Murphy. And Gaddis on the left side has Acosta making the run. Acosta gets around Joe Farrell all the way to the corner flag. Now looking for some help. Doesn't have numbers. Somehow gets into the 18, and finally getting there was Nathan DeSantos to push it away. But what a run by FC Cincinnati's captain, setting all that up.
Oh, it was a great pass from Ray Gaddis too, that just split open the defense of Pittsburgh and led Lucho Acosta onto that run. He did well to keep it in, not just on the sideline, but also the end line too, as he weaved back inside to the box. Ended up getting a throw in from it.
Obino Obodo just picked up a yellow card.
To start talking about yellow cards.
I mean, there's our first booking of the match. It comes in the 11th minute, and Obi just kind of popped Albert Dikwa as he ran by him. Not all that surprised he got booked. But an early yellow for Obino Obodo certainly will be something that Pat Newton will keep an eye on. Pittsburgh has won 6 consecutive games across all competitions. They've been very good in the USL, second in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship right now. And it appears Dikwa is still down. We have watching the stream here in the booth. That's our only effort for a replay. Honestly, from up here, it looked worse than it actually was. It's kind of shoulder to shoulder. I don't know that I agree with the yellow card anymore. Thought Obi put a little more into it in real time.
No, I thought it was a little bit soft, but the player's obviously hurt. He's been down for a little bit of time. Depends on, where he hit him and kind of how he landed too.
And they're looking at his head or his shoulder as he is down. Dikwa, a player who was out with a hip injury, missed Pittsburgh's last 2 games, and there was a lot of question of whether or not he was going to play in this match. It was not listed on the injury report. Obi's going to go over and have a word with him now.
Based on the body language from the trainer, when they signaled for a sub to get warm, it's just not good. I mean, obviously very unfortunate for Dikwa. Interested just to watch the replay again, just to describe exactly what happened.
Pittsburgh has a couple players up, and it looks like they're getting ready to send another one over. And Mark Ibarra, Bob Lilly is looking at one of his assistant coaches, I think.
I'm just watching it again, and it looks like Obi actually catches him in the back shoulder blade. I don't know if he's knocked his shoulder out of place. It looks like it, just to how watching the trainers and how they're carrying him off, protecting it. So I think he maybe popped the shoulder out.
Yeah, I agree. So Albert Dequa, who returned from, and you can see one of the FC Cincinnati physicians is there helping him off the pitch. And Pittsburgh is going to have to make an early change. And it will be Ibarra coming in. Michigan product, grew up in Ann Arbor, played for the Wolverines, signed with Pittsburgh before last season. And Dequa's day comes to a close. They're going to take him straight away into the dressing room. They do have X-ray facilities here on site, should that be necessary. But a lengthy delay here in the first half as Pittsburgh's leading scorer, Albert Dequa, is injured in the first quarter of an hour. So we will resume play following the yellow card on Obina Woboda. Acosta flicks it out forward. Poked away. Vasquez trying to win it with his body. He does. What a ball to get to Acosta. And then it stood up and turned away. Joe Farrell had to stop Lucho. Otherwise, he was going to be all alone on the goalkeeper. And he did. A throw-in coming from the near side. Acosta triple teamed as he gets the ball on his foot. Had nowhere to go. It's poked away. Moreno to Murphy. Now Gaddis on the far side. I agree with your assessment a few minutes ago that it feels like FC Cincinnati is a little over anxious at times.
Yeah, I think just as they're swinging it from side to side, maybe it's okay to take an extra touch or swing it back the other way, just to allow the space to open up, the game to kind of develop a little bit. I think, listen, it's great that there's urgency to create. You want to create, which is fine, but at times too, you're trying to play. The opponent is maybe a little bit frantic, get back into position, and you're kind of feeding off of that energy.
Tom Bodgie trying to get the ball on the near side. It comes off of Farrell. I'm being told it was actually an elbow injury for Dequa on his shoulder, so maybe the way he fell when he went down to the pitch. Arias, Acosta gets it to Vasquez. A little bit of space, dodges a defender, then turns around, and Pittsburgh has their entire outfield behind the ball, so he really had nowhere to go and sent it to the back line. Murphy. You know, Bob Lilly will have an offensive-minded team. They're playing 5 at the back tonight. Acosta to Woboda. Has Bodgie. Moreno. Pressure on Junior. He finds Haglund pushing forward. Woboda now. Tried to get it to Moreno. It was tapped away, but went right back to Obi. Haglund into the center circle, Miazga. Chance of FCC echo throughout the building as we roll on to the 17th minute, still scoreless. Cincinnati showing patience here. Moreno towards the box, trying to get it to Vasquez, knocked away. Dos Santos found it first. And then Harmon trying to get away from traffic. Murphy steps in the way, gets a touch on the ball. Moreno then finds it. It'll roll out slowly on the far touchline. And a throw-in coming for the orange and blue. Gaddis will manage those duties. Throws it in, knee and Murphy, and all the way back to Miazga. Woboda inside of the center circle. On to Haglund. Back to Obi. The 2 there to push him away. Costa back to Murphy. Into the middle. Woboda, his touch was heavy. It got away from him. And Griffin will look up with the possession, trying to get forward and awaiting some help. With everybody back, he had to hold up a moment. Now Dos Santos will push into the final third. On the left side, Biasi trying to break down Santi Arias. Crosses towards the 18. It bounds out to Etu. Has a little room if he wants to take a shot. He does not. Gives it off to Harmon. Harmon will drive into the penalty area, and his touch is too heavy. Rolls out on the end line. Goal kick coming here for Alec Can. Well, we talked about it in the pregame. Great opportunity for Alec Can back in the starting lineup. Was injured warming up for the Open Cup match against Pittsburgh last year. And that cost him his regular starting job in Major League Soccer. Roman Saltano took over, has never looked back, and doing a fantastic job the last year and a half. And Alec has been there as a faithful backup, but has the U.S. Open Cup and making his 4th straight Open Cup start tonight. Vasquez in the midfield, poked off his foot by Griffin. Actually, it was Ordonez who got the possession, but right back to Cincinnati. Baji. Wobodeau, Acosta, Miazga, and Haglund.
I think the one thing for Pittsburgh as they go on, the more time that they can kind of stay in this game, the more they grow in confidence. I think the flip side, if you can score a goal and kind of puncture, then the more that you kind of deflate that confidence. So I think, again, FC Cincinnati, I think they've got to make it a little bit more difficult. Just make, like I said, the key, make the game a little bit bigger, get them out of position, get them chasing the ball defensively. And once they get tired, that's when you have to kind of change gears and kind of penetrate with speed, with numbers.
Harmon had a chance inside of the 18. Alacan came running off his line. Arias fighting for the ball in the midfield, does not win it, but it bounds over to the foot of Wobodeau. Now it's Haglund in the midfield, trying to find somewhere to go, has nowhere, but pings off of a Pittsburgh player. It'll be a throw-in for Cincinnati, last touched by Ibarra. Arias on the throw-in to Vasquez, then Acosta trying to bring it forward. Pings off of Pittsburgh, and again, Cincinnati will throw it in, this time inside of the final third. So the Arias, the Colombian, will come over to handle the duties. Junior Moreno is headed out on international duty soon to join Venezuela. Yerson Mosquera got the Colombian call up for the senior national team as well, so Yerson will be leaving for a pair of matches. Arias holding it above his head. Fires it in to Baji. Back to Arias. Baji just outside of the 18. Poked off his foot by Ibarra. And then a collision, and Baji will be called for a foul, taking down Netu.
Your fan support here again tonight. Tuesday night Open Cup. You can't beat it. It's a testament to these fans as well. We talk about the players and the recovery too, but the amount of commitment shown by these fans to come week in, week out.
I mean, look at the Bailey.
Oh, it's
packed.
It's crazy.
Packed to the gills. Tickets, if you were a season ticket holder, tickets to the Bailey were $5.13, 513. And if you're not a season ticket holder, a mighty $10 to sit in the Bailey tonight. Now the can will have it on his foot. We are hearing an attendance will be around 16,000 tonight. Vasquez has it come off his foot in the midfield. Vasquez takes a little bit of contact to the face from Harmon. Didn't get the foul whistle. And now they're got an update on our guy, Albert Dequa. It indeed was a shoulder injury, not his elbow. So there you go, Dr. McCluskey.
That's why I'm here. I could tell just by watching the replay how he landed too.
Yeah. No, I agree. Harmon on the far side for Griffin. To Mertz. Back to Griffin inside of the final third. Was looking for a cross. Gaddis stepped in his way. Now he'll send it towards the penalty area. Deflected off Junior Moreno. And the second corner kick of the match on tap for the Hounds. Pittsburgh has won 4 consecutive USL matches, including a 1-0 victory against Phoenix at home on Saturday. Corner kick will come from the far side, and it's Mertz standing over the ball. 26-year-old native of Pittsburgh, another Michigan Wolverine on this Bob Lilly roster. Plays it short for Griffin. Back to Mertz. Dos Santos outside of the penalty area, sends it towards the far post. Miazga heads the ball away. Comes out to Biasi in preventative shape. Netu on the near side. Vasquez will give chase on the ball. Now Biasi. Acosta looking for a touch in the midfield. Cincinnati has numbers in transition. 3-on-3. Acosta with a man on is dragged down from behind. Biasi's going to get a yellow. Acosta's going to chirp in his mouth, or in his face. And that is as deliberate and dirty of a professional tackle as you will see.
I would compare this to a football tackle, a rugby tackle. He jumps and grabs Acosta, 2 hands on both shoulders, and pulls him down. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't either.
And I've seen some cynical fouls in my time, but
I mean,
this is a blatant, I would call it a rugby tackle. So Acosta wins the ball. He's sprinting. He must cover about 60 yards of ground. And Biasi just comes in and tackles him, jumps on both shoulders, both hands, and pulls him to the ground.
Lucho was furious afterwards. There are other ways to make a tactical foul. That, not the safest one either, and that's probably Lucho's concern. Certainly that could end up ugly for the attacking player. Cincinnati now with a very dangerous free kick. About 30 yards from the goal. Jamali Waite will get his defense set. Everybody's lined up right at the edge of the penalty area. Acosta standing over the ball. Will certainly take it here. Wobodo lurking nearby. Acosta with his right foot launches a shot and it goes high up and over the goal. So nothing comes of a great opportunity for the orange and blue except the booking to Biasi. So one player on each team now with a yellow card. There is no VAR tonight, so nothing is available for video review. And our match official, Elvis Osmanovic, his 4th career Open Cup match, a regular in the USL. He saw FC Cincinnati once in 2018 as I was looking back through some of his stats.
Last free kick, a little disappointed from Acosta.
Yeah.
Leaning back.
Wobodo sends it forward. Baji has a step into the 18. Baji trying to get a shot off. Well played defensively there by Arturo Ordonez, the center back who came over and got a touch on the ball.
Ordonez is celebrating the tackle, and to be honest with you, I think if it had bounced a little bit in Baji's favour, I don't think it would have been celebrating because he was out of position. He had to recover back, and it just wouldn't fall for Baji as he went to pull the trigger. Gave Ordonez enough time just to get that poke in.
Well, it sets up Cincinnati on their first corner kick of the match. Lucho Acosta will take it from the far side to the right of Waite. Swings it across the penalty area. Miazga heads it back. And there was a foul on FC Cincinnati inside of the box. So again, a chance for the orange and blue, but nothing comes of it.
Yeah, I think the call was actually just on Baji. It was bullied. Biashi, I think it was, at the back post.
Waite, who has 1 cap with the Jamaican national team. Hard to break in as a goalkeeper with Jamaica. And Andre Blake is the long-standing starter in goal. And the best goalkeeper that the Reggae Boys have ever seen. DZ Harmon will draw to the far side. Just past the halfway point of the first half. Still 0-0. Tom Gletter, Kevin McCluskey, happy to be with you here for the quarterfinals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. 2017, FC Cincinnati went to Miami and defeated FC Miami, then of the NASL, to qualify for the semifinals. Gaddis trying to find a touch, then Moreno chops it down from Murphy. Back to Moreno. Pressure gives it right back to Pittsburgh and Ibarra. Forward for Griffin, and Can comes over to scoop up the ball. He's going to try to get rid of it quickly.
I think if we had a chance to ask Pat now to interview, I don't think he'd be so concerned about the scoreline. I think he'd be worried about the performance and just making this game a little bit easier for Pittsburgh. They're kind of playing to what they want. Like I said, I think there's a little bit of nervous energy with FC Cincinnati. That can happen. Right, with the favourite. Additional pressure because you're expected to win at home.
Wobodeau with a touch back to Miazga and then sends it over to Hagelin on the near side. Pressure closing in, and it's deflected away by Ibarra. Wobodeau will fight to get it back in the midfield from Etu. Murphy chasing the ball, takes a shoulder into DZ Harmon, and a late whistle will come out, and Ian Murphy has earned a yellow card. Acosta will come over to argue with the match official. Lucho is livid as Ian Murphy is booked in the 29th minute. So to give Pittsburgh a free kick, about 45 yards away or so, not at the most dangerous spot. They will push their center backs forward for it.
Just watching the replay, I mean, it's definitely a foul for sure.
Right, but is it a yellow card?
And it could, yeah, potentially, because there's a ton of space in behind.
Okay.
The bigger question was the attacking player. Was Harmon, was he going to catch up with the ball? And that was the big question, because it's a very heavy touch.
Mertz will take the free kick in the 30th minute. Scoreless so far here in the Queen City. Mertz with his right foot into the penalty area, kept alive. Murphy's going to chop it away, and it comes out onto the chest of Biasi. Sent back, headed towards the far post. Nobody's there. Ray Gaddis can track it down for Cincinnati and send it forward to the foot of Acosta. Acosta has it taken away. Mertz was there along with Rivera. And it comes off of Lucho. Pittsburgh with a throw-in inside of the final third. Half an hour gone. So Pat Noonan talking to the fourth official. To be fair, the contact with Murphy was similar to what we saw with Wobodeau when he was whistled for a yellow card. It's the throw-in from the far side. Hartman handling it for Pittsburgh. Fires it in the direction of Etu. Back to Dos Santos. Biasi towards the 18. Lucho holding off Mertz, and he goes over everybody and out to the end line. Pat's talked about it. Little plays like that where Lucho gets back defensively and helps out. They certainly aren't shown in the box score anywhere, but certainly influence matches. The little things he does defensively.
Yeah, no, I think that's an area of his game that he's improved. I'll finish the thought out.
Yeah, Santi Arias with a chance across the midfield. Draws it back for Vasquez. His touch just a little bit off, and Mertz was able to collect. And then Vasquez whistled for a foul.
Well, listen, credit to Pittsburgh. There's been a couple of occasions where FC Cincinnati have attacked. They've got numbers, but Pittsburgh have been very quick to get back into good defensive shape. What we expected.
Are you surprised a little bit there that Arias sent that ball in the middle and didn't try to push it further wide?
I don't think he had the speed to kind of, beat the player down the line. So he was looking for support. I think the better option, great in hindsight, would have been the central player coming to him to check in to provide the support.
Harmon in the midfield. They'll drop it back to Joe Farrell. And now all the way back to Waite, the goalkeeper, which will bring Acosta into the penalty area to put some pressure on him as Waite sends it across the midfield. Murphy and Gaddis trying to get to the header, cannot. It's played into the middle, Ibarra. Possession 59% for Cincinnati thus far. Gaddis trying to poke it away from Harmon, but he kept control. Then Harmon's cross high up into the air. Murphy knocks it down onto the chest of Moreno.
I think Harmon on the right-hand side for Pittsburgh, too. I think he's been threatening. I think he's caused a few challenges for Gaddis. A couple of times he's drifted inside as well. He's went. Junior and Obi, he hasn't been afraid to kind of, try to go 1v1 against those players. So far for me, I think he's been, the brightest kind of spark for Pittsburgh.
The throw-in from the far side. And two will find it on his foot to Mertz. Now back to Harmon, and I agree. He's been the most consistent player for Pittsburgh so far. Played to Etu. towards the box. Ian Murphy stepped in the way. I think Ian's been strong for Cincinnati. Wobodeau gets away from it too. Cincinnati trying to find numbers. Wobodeau all the way to the final third. Baji shakes off some space, brings it back for Vasquez, but couldn't connect. Had the right idea, but there were too many yellow jerseys in between the two players.
I think Vasquez was smart. He was trying to go back inside and then cut back outside and try to kind of delay his run or change his run, and Baji just didn't have the luxury of time to wait for that to kind of unfold. So we had to play it back into the middle. By that time, Brandon had diverted his run.
Dos Santos and Farrell back to wait. Plays it long right towards the center circle. Miazga will be there first on the header, but it lands off the chest of Biasi. Biasi onto the near side, Ibarra. Dos Santos. Ibarra. Moreno. Arias. Forward, but it doesn't get to Lucho. Griffin to Mertz. Wobodeau trying to get it back for Cincinnati. Had a piece of the ball. Finally gets to it. A tough challenge there. Pittsburgh wanted a foul on Wobodeau. Needs to be careful on a yellow card. Pittsburgh has a player down. Then Baji will end up being whistled for a yellow card. He is booked. Pat Noonan is furious. And this is getting a little bit ridiculous. I don't know that was a yellow card.
Well,
you can tell me I'm wrong.
As far as the push, I mean, it was an obvious foul. I'm watching the replay. It was an obvious foul. Was it a yellow card? I mean, again, the discretion of the referees in a better position than we are. I mean, I think the one thing, though, Tommy, that holds true, it's what we said. We expected Pittsburgh. We expected this game to be like this.
Yes.
Unless FC Cincinnati came out, opened up the game, made it very difficult for Pittsburgh, and then scored. They haven't done that. So, as a result, it's become kind of that physical battle that we expected it to be. There's a lot of pulling, there's a lot of tugging. Both teams have been guilty of that.
Yeah. And Biasi is called for a foul, pulled down Santi Arias. He has to be careful. He's the only player with Pittsburgh with a yellow card. But again, wrapping his arms around a player, it's going to end up landing you in the book again if you're not careful.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for FC Cincinnati, they cannot get frustrated, because as soon as they get frustrated, they become rattled. And then Pittsburgh, essentially, their game plan's winning, right? They're doing and achieving what they want.
Yep. 100% accurate. Miazga looks up, has Acosta making the run. He played it towards the middle. Acosta wanted it out wide. He didn't get there. Wade was able to come over and pick up the ball. Pittsburgh is without one of their regulars in Edward Kizza tonight. Former New England product, 24 years of age, picked up a red card in that 95th minute against Columbus. So suspended from this match. 37th minute, we're still scoreless. Only 3 shots in the match, 2 for FC Cincinnati, 1 for Pittsburgh. Haven't seen a shot on target for either team. Murphy back to Miazga. Now Haglund. Miazga in the midfield. Pat Noonan tonight starting pretty much a choice first team. Alvaro Barrial, the only regular starter you would say that's not starting, but he is available on the bench. And Yerson Mosquera being the other, I'm sorry. So 2 for FC Cincinnati of their regular starters in Major League Soccer matches, not starting this one tonight. So gives him a couple weapons on the bench to bring on as this one rolls through. For the Open Cup, you can only dress 18, unlike league games when you can dress 20. Same with 5 substitutions. And of course, if tied at the end of 90 minutes, we play 2 15-minute overtime periods. Vasquez in the midfield. Over to Murphy. Cincinnati into the final third. Feels like it's been a while since they've had an opportunity here. Gaddis back to Murphy. And all the way back to Miazga in the midfield. Over to Haglund. Good to see Nick back into the rotation after missing the last 3 MLS games. Murphy to Gaddis. has Acosta. Acosta on the cross. Vasquez is there, takes the shot. Waite makes the save. Cleared out by Pittsburgh. Cincinnati will have a corner kick, but there's your first chance of the match. And Waite makes the save on Vasquez.
Well, it was a good chance to get Acosta drifted down the left-hand side and pull it back for Brandon Vasquez, who came inside, strikes it first time with his left foot. It's a good-looking shot. There's not a ton of power on it. Pace, the goalkeeper was in a good position to protect that front post, but better from FC Cincinnati.
Corner kick will come from Lucho Acosta, swinging it across the 18 and just overhit the ball. Never touches anybody and hooks out by the far post. So Waite has a goal kick coming, and we remain scoreless after 39 minutes. Awesome to see such a great crowd tonight. They had to keep opening up more sections on the available seating map as the day went along and more people bought up tickets. A beautiful night here in the Queen City.
I think just watching this game as well, I mean, a simple tactical change or change of position. I think if FC Cincinnati went to like a single pivot defensively in midfield and put another player up top or up higher in that triangle, so just to turn it with Acosta, I think would create so much more space and opportunities.
Dangerous shot there for Danny Griffin. Kind of found it at his foot and went wide into the side netting. Alec Cann had the near post covered, but ball just kind of rolled to him inside of the 18.
I expect those changes to happen in the second half, potentially, but I think Pittsburgh, without their defending, a lot of times they defend with the back five. At times it's very flat. They're playing with a single pivot defensively and two in front. So if you just flip it, I think you have an advantage. A guy like Opina is good enough to hold and play one against two, really, to give you the advantage, especially if you have the possession, which you expect FC Cincinnati to have that. So we'll see.
Yeah. Biasi on the throw, and it ends up on the chest of Wobodeau. Moby will send it over to Ian Murphy. Now Gaddis. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here. The first of four quarterfinals in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Yazga to Murphy. Gaddis. Wobodeau. Moreno. Acosta looking up, sent it towards Brandon Vasquez, knocked away, then Biasi sends it into the midfield, used his foot. Murphy towards the middle, it got past Lucho, but didn't quite make it to Junior Moreno, and then Pittsburgh looks up and clears the ball, but nobody's there. Danny Griffin was the only player anywhere near the ball, and Miazga drifts over to send it to Haglin. Wobodeau. Haglin. Baji. And now Arias. Vasquez. Haglin and now Moreno. Over to Murphy. Murphy to Gaddis. Baji pokes it out to Murphy. Gaddis will keep it alive on the far touchline. Back to Murphy and now to Miazga in the midfield. Haglin. Cincinnati trying to strike first before heading into the dressing room for halftime. Miazga has Gaddis on the far side. Gaddis sent it across the box, and Waite will step in front of Vasquez to pull it out of the air. Brandon was right there. It was the right idea, just didn't quite connect. Biasi. Arias comes over to win the touch. Sends it to Haglin and now Moreno. Vasquez. Moreno. Haglin and Miazga. Vasquez not able to keep the possession, and then a foul on Junior Moreno knocking down Griffin.
Well, listen, if I'm Bob Lilly, I'm happy. I'm happy going in at halftime. If it does stay, of course, 0-0. A couple of FC Cincinnati players have picked up bookings. You've obviously kept the score at bay for now. You gain confidence and you have a good idea of what the opponent looks like. I think for FC Cincinnati, they've got to look different in the second half.
One of the players for Pittsburgh is down in the midfield. I think it's Mertz. Of course, they've already lost one to injury. They shoulder injury to Albert Dequa. First 15 minutes, he came off. That was Mertz who was down. So hook him over to the near side. We'll see what we're looking at for stoppage time. Because Dequa was down for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage tacked on here. Entire FC Cincinnati team coming over to talk to Pat Noonan while Mertz was being attended to.
I think as well to keep in mind for Pittsburgh, they don't want to make a sub.
No.
At this point in time, they'd prefer to wait to halftime.
But you get 3 opportunities to make those 5 subs. You've already burned 1. You're absolutely right, partner.
Yeah.
Not to mention, of course, this is a match that could go 120 minutes. Last year when they played here in the Open Cup, it did go 120 minutes, and Alvaro Parial scored twice in the overtime periods, if you recall. Right now we're in the 45th minute, scoreless. Playing all the way back to Wade. Across the midfield, headed down Miazga. Woboda inside of the center circle. Caught a hand on somebody. Woboda thought it was a handball in Pittsburgh. It's actually called on Woboda. Obi can't believe it. Pat can't believe it. The fans here are confused, and Pittsburgh's going to try to get on the account. On the attack.
Everybody's confused.
Yeah. Obi's like, okay, handball. I'll put the ball down and restart it. No. Handball with you, Chief. Arias to Acosta in the direction of Woboda. Etu finds a touch. Ibarra, who was the sub. Forward, Hagland. Now Acosta. Ibarra takes it away from Lucho. Rivera. Back to Etu. Etu slides it off on the left to Ibarra. Arias pokes it out. A throw-in coming for Pittsburgh inside of the final third. We are in the stoppage time here at TQL Stadium. Diassi will handle the throw-in. Looking towards the corner, sends it in that direction. Ibarra was there but misplayed the ball. Cincinnati will get the possession back. Woboda out towards the midfield. Baji trying to get to the ball. Headed on as Joe Farrell found it. Lands at the feet of Hagland. Woboda to Moreno. Over the left side, Gaddis has some room to work, but here come the yellow jerseys as they try to get behind the ball. Moreno for Woboda. Vasquez onto the near side, Arias. Santi Arias had the amazing pass to set up the Lucho goal on Saturday. This pass from Vasquez across the middle is intercepted easily by Harmon. He'll drive forward up the far side. Gaddis catches up to him and turns him around. Onto the foot of Mertz. Now Ibarra. Mertz to Etu. Back to Farrell. Dos Santos. And Farrell as Pittsburgh will work along their back line. Farrell forward, gets over the head of Ray Gaddis, and will it sneak out on the far side? No, Harmon somehow kept it alive. Now one-on-one with Gaddis from the far touch. The ball seemed destined to go out. Now a nutmeg on the far side for Obi. And Cincinnati trying to get going left to right. Acosta gets around Rivera and sends it up the left side, and the foul will be now given right at the midfield stripe as Acosta was fouled by Danny Rivera. Joe will tap it back in play to Obino Obodo. About 3 of the 4 minutes of stoppage time gone. Miazga to Vasquez. Moreno back towards Obi. Pings away. And to Mertz. So many of those first touches that just seemed off for FC Cincinnati in the first half.
Yeah, again, I think some of it's just lack of composure. Feeding off of kind of the energy from Pittsburgh.
Rolls all the way back to Alacan. Pittsburgh has 2 shots, has not put one on target. FC Cincinnati has 1 shot on target in the first half. Arias throws it in on the near side for Haglund. Maybe one more chance forward for the orange and blue. Gaddis into the midfield, Wobodo. Acosta taps it forward, and we will have a halftime whistle here in the Queen City and a scoreless quarterfinal thus far. Pat Noonan will throw the headset on down on the pitch. Looks like he is about ready. Coach, just 1 shot on target in the first half. Your analysis of the first 45 minutes for your men?
Pretty sloppy. We just didn't move the ball well, and we got to position our center backs higher. A little more build with the ball. It's way too comfortable, and then the distances that we're making passes from them into the midfield strikers is longer than it needs to be. And then when we turn the ball over, Ian and Nick are way too deep. Matt at times as well, where we're not able to get pressure on the ball higher up the field. So that's something we'll talk about. Our hold-up play is not good enough, which isn't allowing us to get into the box. So, overall sloppy.
But it seems like Pittsburgh are sitting back and probably expected, making it very difficult. Some late hits, a little bit of frustration creeping into the game. What's your message to your team at halftime?
There's some similarities to recent games with Colorado and Chicago with, how we move the ball, our spacing, and the patience that you need to be able to break down some pressure. And then also at times 1v1 creativity. It can't always be that it's pass, and then it's going to be us getting in front of goal. Sometimes guys got to take people on.
Pat, appreciate the time always.
Thanks.
All right, that is head coach Pat Noonan. I think his analysis was about what Kevin expected as he heads into the dressing room. 45 minutes in the book, still 45 more to come, at least. We are scoreless in the quarterfinal of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Our halftime report when we return on ESPN 1530.
The bloodline of these brothers is fearless and uncompromising. The fun, adventurous Tacoma, outselling everything in its class for 18 years. The legendary 4Runner, proving itself off-road for 4 decades. The best-in-class Tundra, designed and engineered in the USA. And introducing the powerfully efficient Sequoia, all new from the ground up, with technology and comfort for all. Toyota's 4 brothers, simply rivalry at its finest. Toyota. Let's go places.
TQL Stadium is the place to be on Wednesday night, June 21st, when FC Cincinnati take on Toronto FC at 7:30 for a midweek matchup. Celebrate Father's Day and Juneteenth with the orange and blue as your team fights for a win over Toronto. Round up your friends and family and take a midweek break with us. Be a part of the most exciting atmosphere in Major League Soccer at TQL Stadium. Secure your seats today. Visit fccincinnati.com or call 513-977-KICK.
At Mercy Health, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. So these days, it's not just about how we care for you, it's where. Because whether at our place or yours, or wherever your day takes you, we'll be there with compassionate, personalized care. No matter how the world changes, your health will always be our top priority. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com to find a doctor near you.
I'm Israel Gutierrez. I'm hosting a new podcast called 4 Years of Heat. It takes you to Miami from 2010 to 2014, when LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade set the NBA ablaze.
Have an opportunity to team up with the best trio to ever play the game of basketball.
We'll take you inside those 4 monumental years with behind-the-scenes access and insight about one of the greatest teams ever assembled. 4 Years of Heat on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, FC Cincinnati fans, Medical Mutual cares about the health and well-being of Ohioans like you. That's why we offer high-quality health insurance plans with access to the hospitals and doctors you know and trust, plus dental, vision, and wellness plans to help you achieve and maintain your health. To learn more about individual Medicare and employer plans, visit medmutual.com/FC Cincinnati. Medical Mutual, the official health insurer of FC Cincinnati.
Did you know that 90% of adults support organ, eye, and tissue donation, but only 60% are signed up as donors? There are nearly 110,000 people waiting for life-saving organ transplants in the United States and over 500 people in our community. Now, that number grows every day. Educate yourself on the powerful truths about donation and take a proactive role in your health and the health of your community. Regardless of age or medical history, anyone can be a potential donor. Register your decision to donate at lifepassiton.org.
Cincy 360, tomorrow at noon on ESPN 1530.
Back at CQL Stadium where we are at the half, and let's talk about the U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal tonight and what it means. Scoreless so far between FC Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. The winner of this match will see the winner of Birmingham of the USL and Inter Miami, and Birmingham is hosting that quarterfinal tomorrow night at 8 p.m. On the other side, in the West, the Chicago Fire hosts the Houston Dynamo tonight. An 8:30 kickoff. The winner of that match will play the winner of Real Salt Lake and the LA Galaxy, who play tomorrow night at 9:30. Of course, FC Cincinnati will be back in action in Major League Soccer come Saturday against the Vancouver Whitecaps. A 10:30 start. 10 p.m. will be the pregame with Jeff Lorenowitz and yours truly on the call. So we hope you stay up late with us Saturday night. And as we look at the Cintas upcoming schedule, then finally, hallelujah, a break for everybody involved, but namely the players and Lucho Acosta and Alvaro Barrial and everybody else who's been playing so many minutes. They'll be off for 11 days before they return to action on June 21st at home against Toronto. You can get tickets for that match now at fccincinnati.com. And they round out the month of June on the road at DC United June 24th. We'll take a break, come back. Kevin and I will break down the first 45 minutes next on ESPN 1530.
There are lots of ways to make Skyline part of your game plan. You can pregame with friends in 5 ways at your favorite Skyline, or carry out conies to crush during the game. And Skyline is the only place for post-game Cholitos and chili cheese fries. Football, basketball, baseball, or soccer. High school, college, or pro. Doesn't matter. Game time is always a good time for Skyline. So get your game face on and get your Skyline game plan together. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
Cincinnati is known for great duos. Spaghetti and chili, Geta, and, well, anything. Now there's another great duo. The First Financial Bank FC Cincinnati debit and credit cards. Show your pride with every swipe and get great discounts on team merch and tickets. You'll also be eligible for exclusive promotions and giveaways. Apply today at bankatfirst.com/FC Cincinnati and score big the next time you get your favorite 5-way. First Financial Bank. Member FDIC. All credit cards are subject to credit review and approval.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I'm Israel Gutierrez. I'm hosting a new podcast called 4 Years of Heat. It takes you to Miami from 2010 to 2014, where LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade set the NBA ablaze.
You know, have an opportunity to team up with the best trio to ever play the game of basketball.
We'll take you inside those 4 monumental years with behind-the-scenes access and insight about one of the greatest teams ever assembled. 4 Years of Heat on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Mo Egger, tomorrow at 3 on ESPN 1530.
Tom Glenn and Kevin McCluskey back with you inside of the broadcast booth here at TQL Stadium, where we are at the half, scoreless between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. You heard the thoughts from Pat Noonan kind of echoed what you were thinking, that it has to be better for Cincinnati after a sloppy 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think, again, it's okay to be urgent. I think at times it was. But I think as far as the soccer IQ and kind of sticking to the game plan and playing the style of play that's expected from your coach, I think that was what was missing, being honest, in the first half. So I think things need to improve in the second half. Not drastic changes, Tommy, just intelligence, starting positions, passing, movement, just really kind of looking at the opponent and kind of seeing what the spaces are. And I don't think that's what's happening right now. I think everything is very kind of reactive. And you're going to fall into a trap of a team that's going to sit back and kind of defensively try to close you down if you do that. So you've got to kind of be a little bit more aware and play with confidence. And then at the right time, once the space goes, then you play quickly and you play with aggression.
And you think at this point for Pat Noonan, I wouldn't imagine a substitution coming out of the dressing room, but maybe just more of how he is using his players in the different spaces.
The only thing, and he might not do this, but is the change midfield and starting positions a little bit higher, like I mentioned during that first half. But he might not do that, right? There's other solutions as well. You can play 2v1s out wide to kind of draw players, a little bit of space in the middle as well. So those are different things that, again, part of his game plan. He will implement and give those instructions as he sees fit.
And if you're Pittsburgh and you're Bob Lilly sitting in the dressing room right now, just more of the same, right? You're
thrilled.
Yeah, you lost your leading scorer in the 12th minute or so, and you're in a really good spot.
Yeah, it goes back. I mean, this past weekend we talked about the first 15 minutes of that second half being crucial. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think the first 15 minutes of this second half for Pittsburgh, their psychology and their survival, they've got to get through those 15 minutes while continuing to go. If they can't, and FC Cincinnati can, then I think it's going to be a tough game, because FC Cincinnati and the caliber of players and the caliber of team change gears, and it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, these teams have met 10 times previously, twice in the U.S. Open Cup. FC Cincinnati won both of those. They met 8 times as foes in the United Soccer League, and FC Cincinnati won 4 of those, and they drew 4 times against Pittsburgh. So the Riverhounds have never defeated FC Cincinnati. They've also never been to the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup. This is only the second time that they have been to the quarterfinals. The last time was 2001. The last time FC Cincinnati were in the quarterfinals was 2017. We'll reminisce on that match next on ESPN 1530.
Orthopedic injuries shouldn't have to wait. And thanks to Mercy Health, they don't have to. Get a same-day or next-day orthopedic appointment and receive after-hours care at select locations by calling 513-347-9999 or visiting mercy.com. With locations where you need them and appointments when you need them, our comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine services get you back to doing what you do best. Mercy Health. Orthopedics for the universe of you.
You're never offside at Wings and Rings. With elevated food and VIP service, we are dedicated to being the place all fans can enjoy the match. Whether it's enjoying a bit of banter, catching up with old friends, finding new favorites, or watching your team bring home the win, we invite all FC Cincinnati fans to kick back and enjoy life with us. Stop into any of the 12 Cincinnati area Wings and Rings locations or place your order online at wingsandrings.com.
GMC continues its commitment to professional-grade engineering in Sierra. We are professional-grade GMC. Well-qualified buyers step up to GMC with 0.9% APR for 36 months on Sierra light-duty models. See your local GMC dealer today. Monthly payment is $28.16 for every $1,000 you finance. Average example down payment 16.2%. Some customers will not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/31/23.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100.
Continental. Available at Discount Tire.
WCKY Cincinnati.
Cincy 360, tomorrow at noon on ESPN 1530.
Leonard Kemikowski back with you, almost set for the second half as the Orange and Blue are in the U.S. Open Cup quarterfinals for the first time since 2017. If you remember, in 2017, FC Cincinnati went to Miami to play in that quarterfinal without most of their starters. They had some injuries. They had issues with their starting lineup. The match ended up, there was a massive storm in Florida, and it didn't get played. It rained and rained. Miami wanted to play because they knew FC Cincinnati was missing a bunch of guys. They could not play the match. It ended up being postponed 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, all the starters were back, and FC Cincinnati won thanks to a GB goal late, and that put the Orange and Blue onto the semifinals, where they lost to the New York Red Bulls at Nippert Stadium. We are going to see a substitution for each side to start the second half. Yerson Mosquera will come on for Nick Haglund. So first substitution for FC Cincinnati. And when Nick was out last week, Yerson slid over to the right and played at the right center back position. We'll see if he is there with Ian Murphy in his more natural spot on the left. Bob Lilly is going to make a substitution as well, as Robbie Mertz, who was really active in the first half, comes off. And Canardo Forbes, a veteran Jamaican, has played all 13 regular season matches this year for Bob Lilly. Started all 13, and the 35-year-old will come into the match here in the second half. So a little bit of a chess match for both managers, trying to get more out of their respective side. They will switch ends, and FC Cincinnati in all blue will attack right to left towards the Bailey for the final 45 minutes. And Pittsburgh in their yellow tops with the gray shorts and yellow socks, left to right. The Bailey packed to the gills tonight, and the second half of the Open Cup quarterfinal underway here in the Queen City. Harmon off to the foot of Ibarra. He came on for Dequa early, throwing for FC Cincinnati as it's misplayed by Pittsburgh. And it will be Yerson Mosquera going out onto the right side of the center backs, and Ian Murphy staying on the left. Gaddis trying to fire it forward. It comes off the face of Brandon Vasquez. So he got stepped on as that ball came into him. He'll be all right. And over to the far side on the attack, it's Etu. Pushes it wide, Ibarra. They get around Santi Arias. Wanted a foul called, won't get it. Arias then misplays the ball. Etu finds it at his feet, a gift. Yerson Mosquera wins the ball, then sends it for Acosta, but just ahead of him. They throw in for Pittsburgh.
That's what Pat talked at halftime. We asked him the question of how he thought his team did, and he assessed as being sloppy.
Moreno with a chance over to Baji as the ball was picked up in the midfield. Cincinnati pushing into the final third. Baji showing his speed into the box, takes a shot. Waite will make the save, his second of the match.
Well, it's a good effort from Baji. He looked up. He only had two players, Vasquez and Acosta, coming in to support, but there was 4 Pittsburgh players to kind of cancel those players out. So he went outside and tried to beat the keeper at the near post. He struck it well with his left foot, but and it ended up being a comfortable save.
Waite at the edge of the 18 will send the ball across the midfield. It gets past everybody, and Cincinnati will have a throw in just outside of the defensive third. Pressure from Pittsburgh making it difficult for Cincinnati to get it out of there and actually concede a throw into Pittsburgh. Right into their final third. Gaddis swipes at the ball, sends it towards Baji, comes out on the near side, and another throw for Pittsburgh. Bob Lilly has now used 2 of his substitutions. He has 2 opportunities remaining for his 3. Van Noonan has 4 substitutions remaining and has not used any opportunity, seeing that he made the sub at halftime. Haglund, upon his return, only 45 minutes. Vasquez trying to get to the ball from Miazga through the center circle, and it was just ahead of him. Acosta forward for Wobodo towards the 18. Wobodo trying to get there. Dos Santos was indecisive at first, but then once he made the decision, it was the right one. Etu through the center circle for Pittsburgh. The other way, he has Griffin to his left and sends it in that direction. Griffin with Mosquera there with him. Looked like he went out on the end line. Then on the far touch line, finally Arias comes over to get to the ball. Miazga back to Arias. Miazga playing it long. Acosta heads the ball on towards Vasquez, off his chest. Brandon will look up, able to keep the control, pushes it to his left. Baji and Gaddis are there with space. Slow it down for the moment and goes to the foot of Gaddis. Pittsburgh did all they could to race back defensively. Woboda touches it to Moreno. Now Murphy getting higher into the attack. This is what Pat said he wanted to see his center backs involved. Gaddis, corner of the 18, swings it across the box. It pops out to Moreno. Onto the foot of Acosta. Captain will find Murphy. Gaddis back to Murphy. Second-year player out of Duke. Moreno. Mosquera. And Arias. Two Colombians working on the right side. Towards Gaddis on the left, but he got past everybody. And then Murphy takes a touch. Arias can't get back to the ball. Etu inside of the center circle. Woboda was there, commits the foul. He was doing everything he could not to, but just too much contact on Junior Etu. Pittsburgh will have the possession on the far side. 50th minute, it's 0-0. Back-to-back cup sets for Pittsburgh over MLS sides. They're trying to make it 3 in a row.
You know, just watching Pittsburgh, I can see why they've got to this stage. Again, how they've set up defensively, but even in attack as well, you got to give them credit. They've got a couple of tricky players. Etu has been effective. Obviously, we talked about Hartman in the first half, you know, what he brought to that right-hand side. Alvarez, since he's come in too, it's also been a threat.
Woboda was trying to get it up the left side for Ray Gaddis, who was just over him. I would think that we would have to see Alvaro Barrial here probably around the 60th minute. Certainly give FC Cincinnati another attacking presence. Mosquera with a nifty footwork inside of the center circle. If you're just joining us, Yerson was called up with the Colombian national team for 2 matches. So kudos to Yerson. Vasquez to Mosquera. Mosquera will give it right back to Vasquez. Vasquez turns and takes a shot about 35 yards away and sailed up into the bailey. Not the look that Brandon Vasquez was hoping for there. Molly Waite, UConn product, spent preseason with the Fire in 2022, didn't sign, so he signed with Pittsburgh now in his second season with the Riverhounds. Sends it out into the midfield. Ibarra on the near side. Mark Ibarra this season, just 1 assist for the 24-year-old. Dos Santos. Slows it down for Etu. Etu turning towards the goal. Miazga stuck his foot in there, knocked it away. Biasi. Etu challenged by Arias. Actually, it's Canaro Forbes, spins away into the box. Griffin draws it back. Etu is there. Murphy gets an important touch because Junior Etu looked like he was going to have a great chance at a shot. Now Cincinnati trying to get forward. Acosta wins the ball. Got it away from Rivera. Now around a defender. Nearly nutmeg Dos Santos to find Vasquez, but Dos Santos squeezed it out.
So you get what I'm saying about Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
They've got a couple of players that can, you know, they have talent. For sure, they get into 1v1 situations, they have absolutely nothing to lose. So as far as confidence, it's going to be high. It'll make it difficult for you. This is the time FC Cincinnati have to show their experience. They have to be able to show the difference in level. And that, to me, means that you got to dictate the flow of the game. You got to get this game under control. Put the pressure on Pittsburgh.
Cincinnati have 59% of the possession. There have only been 6 shots in this match. 4 for Cincinnati. 2 of those 4 have been on goal.
I guess the question is, but where has the possession been?
Yeah.
What area of the field has it been being played? Has it been the tongue of the attack in third?
Mascara. To the left, Miazga. Back to Mascara. Just plays the ball. He put it in between Moreno and Arias, and right back to Pittsburgh. 54th minute, we're still sit at 0-0. Dream situation, certainly for the Riverhounds so far. Bobido will look up right in the center circle. Instead, slides it to his left, Murphy. Across midfield to Gaddis. Gaddis just misplayed the ball and then just slowly skipped out.
I think the game's crying out for a guy maybe like Kubo. Likes to go off the dribble, likes to get into those spaces, plays well in between lines.
If you're looking for a midfielder to get higher in the attack, he's certainly the one.
He's the guy that stands out for me to kind of change this or add something different. I think a guy like Alvis Powell could certainly be used as well. Talk about putting an opponent under pressure. Well, his pace can certainly do that.
At 2 in the midfield. On the foot of Ibarra, who will turn around and have some space. Over the left side, the flag will go up. Bernardo Forbes was the player offside. Cincinnati will put it back into play. 55 minutes gone. Murphy will work it to Miazga. Now to Mascara, the halftime substitution. Mascara trying to drive it towards the midfield. Somehow it gets to Baji. That was a lucky break for Cincinnati. Now Acosta outside of the penalty area. Lucho puts it into the penalty area. Vasquez puts it in the back of the net. 1-0 to the orange and blue.
I thought it was offside when it first went in. I really thought it was offside.
Pittsburgh is asking for it. The
Hansman didn't put his flag up.
No, and he still has not. Like, you either put your flag up or you don't. The only thing that I could think they are discussing, the goal will stand, is if Baji had been offside and didn't touch the ball, didn't make a play on the ball.
He touched the ball.
Oh, yeah, he did touch the ball. So you're right.
I mean, he's offside. I'm watching the replay. He's definitely offside.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he did.
I mean, he touched it and touched the drag.
I think he did, yeah. Like, he just dragged it forward to Vasquez, right?
It's
no
question it's offside. But listen, again, breaks have happened against FC Cincinnati.
Yep. And now they take the lead, and here comes Alvaro Boreal marching towards the dugout. With the orange and blue leading in the 57th minute. Brandon Vasquez, his second goal in Open Cup play, his 6th across all competitions. I just wonder what that conversation was between, without any VAR to intervene. I mean, either the flag goes up or it doesn't, right? Is there anything to discuss?
No, but the referee's probably going back over and said, look, you've got a better view, the assistant referee. Did you see an offside? He said no. It's like, okay, because the referee's out of position, the center, right?
Yep.
So he's probably looking back and going, it might have looked like it was offside. He's going to. So I'm shocked. Based on the video evidence that I've seen, it was offside.
Well,
it's a different angle.
Pittsburgh with a sense of urgency. The ball was crossing in the direction of Griffin, who tried a bicycle kick. Arias is going to be whistled for a foul, and then he's barking at the official. See if there's any punishment for dissent. In the meantime, Yuya Kubo and Alvaro Barrial, there you go, partner, both getting ready to come onto the mat with just over a half an hour remaining. In the meantime, bit of a dangerous free kick coming in for Pittsburgh, who now trail by a goal. FC Cincinnati in the previous 2 Open Cup matches against Pittsburgh outscored the Riverhounds 5-1. They have now outscored the Riverhounds 14-5 all time through 11 meetings. The Bailey rocking to our left with their men leading 1-0. But first, the free kick. Sent into the box. Griffin trying to get to it. A tough angle. Draws it back. It gets over everybody, and the flag went up. Griffin was offside.
I think with these 2 changes, FC Cincinnati have a chance to change gears. I talked about the first goal. Didn't quite, well, around about 15 minutes, as I mentioned, right? So I find it very difficult now to believe that Pittsburgh can get back into this. I think the psychology, they probably feel a little bit hard done by.
Oh, yeah.
I think as the fresh legs of Kubo and Barrial come on, I think they'll cause problems for this Pittsburgh team. Would expect a follow-up second goal here pretty soon from FC Cincinnati.
Baji and Acosta get assists on the goal by Vasquez in the 56th minute. And the substitutions, Ray Gaddis out for Alvaro Barrial, and Dom Baji's night comes to a close to make way for Kubo. Moreno will send it over to Barrial, right into the match, and he gets a touch. Finds Kubo, darting towards the goal. Drops it for Vasquez. Vasquez trying to weave away from traffic. Canardo Forbes all over him. Vasquez keeps the control. Moreno back to Miazga. Wobodo now. To Acosta. Lucho on the near side, looking for a pass. Splits 2 defenders. Acosta into the 18, gets around a 3rd defender, then sends the ball. It ends up in traffic. Barrial over to Moreno. Moreno will take a shot, headed away to the far side. Cincinnati will have a throw-in, but the little maestro making moves from the near side.
Feels like a different game, right?
You called it. And FC Cincinnati now just looking for that dagger to make it 2-0. Murphy inside of the center circle. Over to Barrial.
Sometimes it's the hardest thing for a team that's favored to win it is to actually get the first goal. As soon as they do that, the pressure kind of lifts. You make a change at the same time, make 2 changes at the same time. I think the opponent, Pittsburgh, again, the game's not over, but you can just sense it. The energy kind of just flushes from that team.
Becomes a lot more difficult for them. Tony Lopez and Ilau Asumanu getting ready to come onto the match. Forward and a defender for Bob Lilly. Mascara has Acosta, who was offside. If this time the flag went up, Lucho not happy about it.
It's a deep run too.
And look, for Bad Noonan's men, who are playing their 7th match in 21 days, a 90-minute match would be very important tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
For this group, especially with a long trip to Vancouver coming up. Pops out on the near side. Pat Noonan, it was right in front of the FC Cincinnati dugout. It's going to be a throw-in for Pittsburgh. And we've seen Pat a couple times. I just got to shrug his shoulders in disbelief with this officiating crew. Barrial with a touch to Vasquez off the throw-in. Barrial will look up, switch it over to the right. Mascara drags it down inside of the center circle. We roll into the 63rd minute. Cincinnati leading 1-0 now thanks to the Brandon Vasquez goal. Miazga not able to get it to Moreno, but Mascara darting forward to take the possession. Mascara into the final third. On to Yuya Kubo. Mascara wanted it back. Kubo ends up taking a shot. It got a deflection and a corner kick to Cincinnati.
Yeah, just great play. Ball was picked up by Mascara on the right-hand side. He had options to the right. Chose to come back inside, defeat Kubo. Got back on his left foot. ends up taking a deflection corner kick for FC Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati looked like a completely different team. Extremely threatening.
Yerson looked like a center forward there, the way he was darting into the box.
He's just so athletic, too. He covers ground.
Chance of FCC rain down from the Bailey as Luciano Acosta will take the third corner kick of the match for the orange and blue. It'll come from the near side. There's some pushing and shoving going on inside of the 6-yard area. That'll be sorted out. And now Acosta with his right foot towards the far post. Miazga trying to head it down. And it'll be a goal kick to wait. Saying it came off of Matt. He was arguing that took a touch off Pittsburgh, but to no avail. And we have 2 substitutions coming here for Pittsburgh. Next opportunity. Wait, across the midfield. Headed down by Miazga. Kubo had a defender on and it's poked off his foot. Griffin. Canardo Forbes. Jamaican working on the far side. Cut inside by Biasi. Gets all the way to the edge of the 18. Picks up some contact there. Was it with Wobodo? Wobodo remains down. Obi's grabbing his leg. As Lucho knocks it off of Griffin. It'll be a throw-in for Cincinnati with first these substitutions. For Pittsburgh, Rivera comes off to make way for Asumanu. And then it is Biasi coming out of the match. And Tony Lopez. First-year player with the Riverhounds. Coming into the match. So that is now 4 of 5 available subs for Bob Lilly. Unless we get to the overtime periods, in that case, then you get 1 sub back, or an additional sub, I should say. You only have 7 subs, so most likely in that case, then you're using all your outfielders. FC Cincinnati this year, very good when scoring first. They're 11-0-2 in Major League Soccer when getting that first goal. Pittsburgh has not won a match this year when allowing the first goal. In USL play, they've done it 4 times, 0-2-2. Murphy working up the near side, takes a deflection off Ibarra. And Barrial will come over to take the throw in inside of the defensive third. 25 minutes for stoppage time remaining here at TQL Stadium. Barrial to throw it in towards Vasquez, gets over his head. Able to get control. Murphy had a touch, and Miazga fighting for the ball. It'll land on the foot of Etu. Back to Farrell. Scarrow working for the header. Moreno sends it on. Etu. Into the final third. The ball is played right to the foot of Miazga. Miazga will look up and find Kubo on the far side. Yuya, pressure from behind. Sends it back to Mascara. And Miazga will just trot away from the fresh legs of Tony Lopez. Gives it off to Alacan. Can has been really good in Open Cup play. Just the 1 goal allowed. That was late against the New York Red Bulls. Of course, FC Cincinnati in this run have defeated Red Bulls and NYCFC. 13 saves for Alec coming into this match. He has yet to make one tonight. Pittsburgh has just 2 shots, neither of which were on goal. Miazga with a touch to Moreno. Now Mascara. Arias on the right side, Moreno. Kubo now. Back to Arias. Mascara. And Miazga. Obi, Miazga, Cincinnati deliberate through the midfield here. Arias then trying to drive the ball forward, picked up a deflection, but ends up right back with the center backs. And Miazga all the way back to veteran Alacan, 32 years of age.
It just seems that SC just waiting for that one additional pass to create the space to open up Pittsburgh.
Kubo receives the ball off a header from Vasquez. Has Barrial to his left. Barrial into the 18. A touch was just a hair heavy. It's poked away by Arturo Ordonez. Cincinnati will have a throw-in inside of the offensive third. Barrial's throwing for Kubo. Back to Alvaro. Then again, Kubo. Barrial swings it across the box, trying to find Vasquez on the header. Cannot. It goes all the way across, but Arias is there to clean it up. Moreno lets it through to Woboda. Kubo looking up in traffic. 3 yellow jerseys around him. Pittsburgh will really swarm you when you're on the ball. Arias across the 18. Flicks off the head of Harmon. Slowly rolls over to the near side. Both Argentines are there. And then it's knocked away from Lucho. So Alvaro will take the throw-in. And Barrial scored twice in the Open Cup against Pittsburgh last year. There's 3 goals in Open Cup play with FC Cincinnati. Arias will be fouled in the midfield. It was taken off his foot by Tony Lopez.
It's a little bit of a pull, I think, but I'm smiling just watching Hubina cover the ground, get back in his normal fashion, always intercepts, even if his teammate or him loses the ball, he's so quick to react. Such an anchor in midfield for FC Cincinnati.
1 goal victories have been the calling card for FC Cincinnati this year. 10 of their 12 MLS wins have been by a single goal. Vasquez trying to get to a ball inside of the 18. Arias was racing up the right side with him. Pittsburgh has to clear it away, and Cincinnati will have a corner kick incoming. Come from the far side to the left of Waite. Lucho will trot over to take it. Just saw Albert Dequa come out with his right arm in a brace. Hopefully nothing serious there, but obviously had to come out of the match in the first 15 minutes. Costa, the captain, on the far side. Out-swinging ball towards Barrial, who hit it with his left foot. A rocket from Barrial on the volley out of the air. The Argentines connect. 2-0 to the orange and blue.
Well, this is absolutely spectacular. I immediately think back to the free kick and the goal at Acosta and Barrial both scored against New York City FC. In my opinion, this is a better goal than both of those goals because of the technique and the timing. Acosta played the corner. He drove it in about 35 yards, waist height. Barrial spectacularly volleys it under the arm with his left foot. As he connects with the ball, the keeper has no chance to win because he can't get across. And the spin takes it further and further from the goalkeeper into the top corner. Absolutely beautiful goal from Alvaro Barrial. One of the best goals we'll see here at TQL Stadium. No doubt about that.
I mean, Jamali Waite had no chance on that ball as Barrial picked it out of the air, drilled it in the upper 90. Kevin, we've seen that how many times the train. You were talking about it in the first half. We watch these over and over again, and often they're converted like this, but it's a lot harder in a game when there's defenders out there.
Well, and listen, I have not, even in training, I've not seen that convert as sweetly as that was hit.
I've seen it practiced over and over, but you're right. It doesn't get much better than what we just saw. Costa now 2 assists. And Pat Noonan looking down his bench, and looks like Kimi Ordonez will be the next sub on for Cincinnati.
This goal will be on the highlights tomorrow on a certain channel.
You can say, ESPN Top 10, SportsCenter Top 10.
100%.
I mean, if it's not, something's very wrong. Kubo They'll hold it in the midfield. 73rd minute now, and it's 2-0 to the orange and blue. And the Bailey can feel it and start to smell a semifinal. Again, would not know an opponent until tomorrow night. Moreno will switch it over to the left. There's Barrial, who just scored moments ago. Acosta to Vasquez. Kubo, a shot deflected out. That's going to be a corner kick. And a chance to extend the lead further.
Well, and this is what happens now for FC Cincinnati, who were a little bit frustrated in the first half. When things change, they now are on top. They can feel it, they can sense it, so they're going to enjoy it.
Lucho will be called out of the match for Kimi Ordonez. So Ordonez will play up top alongside Vasquez. And Lucho's going to get one heck of a round of applause here. He just got booked a yellow card for taking too long. He handed off the armband to Matt Miazga, as he often does. So he's not quick about it, but I don't know that he played it out too long. But Elvis Osmanovic has been quick to hand out yellow cards tonight. And in Lucho's final act, he will get one here. And now he will get a nice round of applause from the 16,000 or so on hand. Bob Lilly is screaming as Lucho milks it a bit more. Be smart, Lucho. Don't get a second yellow walking off and not be available for a semifinal in August. It is our understanding the draw for as to who would host the semifinal will take place on Thursday once all the games are complete.
It should be here, though, right?
I hope so. Here comes the corner from Alvaro Barrial. Ordonez was trying to get to it. Waite punched it away. It falls with Woboda. Woboda on the near side. Just misstepped over the ball, and Griffin was there to take it away. Now Dos Santos trying to clear it away. Vasquez came over and took the possession right back to Kubo. Kubo into the box is trying to find Mascara, and it's sent out to Arias all the way inside of the center circle. 15 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, 2-0 to the hosts.
Well, FC Cincinnati, I think, went through the struggle phase, went through a release, and I think they're just about to hit flow here in a second.
Tony Lopez will look up. Foot of Ordonez. Now Ibarra, and he overhits the ball trying to find Harmon. It'll slowly roll into the box, and Alcan, who's a master of time wasting, will just kind of slowly let that ball trickle in and make somebody come over and force him to pick it up. And that person is Canardo Forbes, who will run up to him. Forbes, you remember, that's one of the guys we saw in the USL quite a bit. He was with Rochester with Bob Lilly. Yeah. Then when Rochester ceased operations, he went with Bob Lilly to Pittsburgh. So we saw him quite a few times. McCann will drift outside of the 18 and play it long into the night's air across midfield. Vasquez heads it on, but he got behind Ordonez, so Kimi couldn't do anything with it. Looks like one more substitution will be coming for Pittsburgh. It'll be big 6'3" English striker Tola Shoanmi. Ariel not able to keep the possession on the near side, but Woboda comes over to clean things up. Mascara to Miazga. Miazga's pass was intercepted by Asumanu, and somehow Obi Woboda was there to take it right back. Murphy for Ordonez. Now Kubo. Barrial trying to look it towards the 18. Knocked away. Comes out to Forbes, then Lopez. Moreno just turned around, found it on his foot, took the possession back. Possession 61% Cincinnati. The Orange and Blue have 9 shots. Pittsburgh still just 2. They do not have one on goal tonight. Woboda battling for the ball in the midfield with Asumanu, who pushed him over. Cincinnati will have a free kick. He puts it back into play. Murphy to Barrial. 15 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Separating Cincinnati with a date with either Birmingham of the USL or Inter Miami of Major League Soccer in the semifinals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Alice Powell's trotting over. Pat Noonan may have one more sub coming. That's all he has left as Murphy sends it back to Alec Can. Murphy looking up. There's Barriol. Just misses him. Barriol was close to the touchline, and that ball drifted inside. Right idea, just didn't quite get there. So we will hold the possession in the midfield. Ordonez. Harmon. Gets around a couple players. Nice job by Harmon. He's
still impressed.
I know, I agree. I think he's been the best player for the Riverhounds. Bernardo Forbes. Sends it into the middle, pings around, and it'll end up trickling out on the near side. Came off of Lopez. And right on cue, Harmon will come out of the match. And it will be the final sub for Bob Lilly. Tola Shounmi to come onto the bench. So signed with Pittsburgh this year. Out of New Hampshire, University of New Hampshire. He was actually drafted in Major League Soccer by Atlanta late in the 88th pick, but did not sign.
Well, Biazki gets a break.
Yeah, deservedly so. He's played every minute of every Major League Soccer match. Albus Powell, who did a great job on the back line in the match against Chicago, a win on Saturday, will come on for him and spell him. And Cincinnati on the road Saturday against Vancouver, so a long trip ahead on Thursday. As Murphy sends the ball across midfield. Now the 80th minute, 2-0 Cincinnati. You could tell just talking to Pat Noonan even on Saturday, or Friday I should say, ahead of the Saturday match. Not that he was looking ahead, but this is a tournament that's really important to him. He won it with the Revs in 2007. He was named MVP of that tournament. He knows FC Cincinnati as a Major League Soccer team have not won any hardware. Well, they're going to have chances this year. Steve Ordonez is cut down in the midfield with Farrell. And one more win after this one, and FC Cincinnati will be playing for hardware for the first time. Imagine this place with a cup on the line.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think, listen, we're going to credit Pittsburgh. What they brought tonight in the first half especially. It made it very difficult for FC Cincinnati. This game's not over yet, but
it's not. Vasquez trying to make it over. Driving to the end line. Drew it back. Nope, the flag went up. He did pull it out of play. So goal kick. You're right. There's still time left. 9 minutes plus stoppage. Bernardo Forbes. Moreno slows him down. Junior will be whistled for the foul. Ordonez up the right side. Trying to get it to Ibarra, and it slowly skips out just short of the corner flag. It'll be a throw-in for Cincinnati, deep inside of their defensive third. Tom Gletter, Kim McCluskey, our on-site engineer Dave Abbott, happy to be with you on a lovely June night at TQL Stadium. Glad to bring you the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Back to our league duties on Saturday, 10 p.m. Pre-game show. Myself and Jeff Lorenowitz will have the call. Extra pot of coffee or two available for that one as we stay up late on Saturday. And encourage you to do the same. FC Cincinnati, top all of Major League Soccer at 12-1-3. The latest power rankings came out. The fans have been making a really big deal out of it. They just wanted to see their team atop the power rankings, and guess who's finally there? I didn't. Yeah, it's so funny. Doesn't mean anything. We don't want to be. We don't want it. Now they're atop it. We didn't want it anyways. Give it to somebody else. Of course, LAFC, second in the power rankings, lost to Lyon. And a CONCACAF Champions League finals will now be the CONCACAF Champions Cup moving forward next year. FC Cincinnati hoping they're participating in it for the first time. the expanded format with 27 teams. And, of course, winning the U.S. Open Cup gets you a bid. Winning MLS Cup gets you a bid. Winning the Supporter Shield gets you a bid. Being a finalist in Leagues Cup this summer gets you a bid. You don't have to win it. You just got to be in the final. Gets you a bid. So a lot of opportunity for Cincinnati. Right now, they got to close out Pittsburgh. That two will play the ball for the Riverhounds. 7 minutes plus stoppage remaining. Poked away by Santi Arias on the far side. Throw in the direction of Etu. Sorry, that's the feet of Shounmi. Skips away. Moreno. Kubo looking up as Wobodo. Forward for Barrios. The orange and blue chase a dagger. Pittsburgh has never defeated Cincinnati in 10 previous meetings. 2 of those have come right here in the Open Cup. Cincinnati won both. Ibarra into the 18. Powell's there first on the header. Arias for Wobodo. Vasquez. Pressure from behind from Dos Santos. Plays it back to Powell. Mascara has gone to the middle of the 3 center backs now. With Miazga getting a break. Where did the captain's armband land?
Well, it was about Miazga. I had circled to...
Is it Wobodo? Alican? Somebody else. I didn't see who Matt gave it to when he went off the bench.
I think it's Alican, actually.
Alec was captain for one of the Open Cup matches, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I think it is Alec.
It is. Yeah, he was the captain for the Louisville City match here at TQL Stadium. Powell with a touch to Wobodo. Vasquez over to the near side has Barrial just across midfield. Onto the foot of Ordonez. Barrial finds Kubo inside of the 18. Takes a touch, turns back to the goal. Well defended there.
Yeah, it was a great ball by Barrial just to split open too. Kubo had a great position. He cut back inside with just an extra touch.
Griffin forward towards the box. Alican get to the ball before Shounmi could find it. And again, we started the broadcast by talking about Alican, what he has meant to this team as a backup for Roman Celentano to the goalkeeper union. And so far, a clean sheet through 85 minutes, but another just leadership performance. Hasn't had to make a save yet, but he's been back there as a strong leader and made the plays he's had to make. Plays the ball long in the direction of Vasquez, who ends up with the boot near his face, and Brandon's the one who's called for the foul.
Let's talk about Alican. I don't think it's luck. I think it's good recruitment to have guys like that in your locker room.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about the goalkeeper union, but to have, true pros, and it was for Alican an unlucky break to get injured, and Roman Celentano, credit to him, has never looked back really since he got that first opportunity. But Alican has continued to be an ultimate pro, and it's great to see him in these games getting a chance to play meaningful minutes.
Bernardo Forbes finds the ball at the edge of the penalty area, drops it back, and lands with Griffin. Just outside of the 18, over to Ibarra, looking for a cross. Into the penalty area, headed away by Mascara. Griffin recovers for Pittsburgh. Kubo trying to poke it away. Now Farrell, who's pushing forward. Onto the left side. Swung towards the box, dangerously right at the edge of the 6. Shounmi takes a shot. Murphy stepped in the way. And then it's Biasi trying to emulate Alvaro Barrial and pull it out of the air. Finally, Alican is there to just grab it and slow everything down.
Khan screaming at Mascara too. He wasn't happy. And I know why. Because Mascara let the ball bounce, and he shouldn't have. He should have cleared it. That's exactly what Alican is saying. You shouldn't have let that bounce and make it a 50-50 ball for me. You could have avoided that by clearing it first time.
When you talk about Alec, he was brought in to be the starter here.
Yeah.
And it was finally his big chance to be a regular starter in Major League Soccer. after only 32 career appearances as Barrial fights for the ball and then will end up being fouled. And it'll be a free kick for Cincinnati right at the edge of the defensive third. But he was brought in from Atlanta to be the guy. And he was. He had a clean sheet against Atlanta before he was hurt warming up as a backup for a U.S. Open Cup match. And then he got COVID coming out of his rehab, as you recall. And we talked about it during that run. Roman was good. Then Roman was a little bit better. And we kept looking at each other and saying, you're not going to be able to take Roman out of the lineup whenever Alec is back. And you got into that international break, and FC Cincinnati had started to win some games, and the job is Roman Celentano's. And here we are now. The team's 12-1-3, and Roman Celentano has 8 clean sheets in league play. But to have Alec Can as a backup and as a guy to handle this Open Cup run is one heck of a luxury for FC Cincinnati. Barrial on the near side. 89th minute now. Cincinnati trying to close out this Open Cup quarterfinal and advance to the semifinal for the second time in club history. Ordonez fighting for the ball. Did he keep it in? No, it went just out on the end line. Kimi certainly liked to slot one, push this to a 3-0 scoreline. Arlo Forbes in the midfield. Ibarra looks it into the middle. Lopez is there. Now Ibarra misplays it, and Arias will come over to find a touch. Santi Arias dribbling around everybody, trying to get involved in the attack. Now he'll give chase as Dos Santos recovers the ball for Pittsburgh. Sent across the penalty area. Alec Can is able to intercept with Lopez closing in. 90th minute here at TQL Stadium. We are told there'll be a minimum of 5 minutes of stoppage time to be tacked on. Can will put the ball out towards the edge of the 18. Now puts his left foot into it and across midfield. Vasquez heads it on. Arias giving chase. Doesn't quite get there. Pings out towards the center circle. Griffin draws it back. Onto the foot of Joe Farrell. 29-year-old also spent some time with Rochester and Bob Lilly before following into Pittsburgh. And here we go. Into stoppage time of the quarterfinal with FC Cincinnati. Now 5 minutes away. Kubo is shot. Waite makes the save. Pings out to Barrial. Headed on.
Just watching Kubo as he struck that ball. I think he hurt his knee, actually, it looks like. He's limping.
It's not good. The Yuya is okay, but you're right. Good look there for Yuya Kubo, but hopefully not at the expense of an injury. Remember, that's what happened when he came on as a sub in that game in March when he was hurt. Now there was contact there as he took the shot.
I don't think there wasn't any contact. It was just Seattle, yeah. For this shot, he just turned quickly and he kind of struck it. Looked like rather sharp as well. So he grabbed his knee as soon as he hit it. We'll keep a watch out for that.
Now he's calling for the ball, so must be feeling a little bit better. Yuya out wide for Ordonez. Again, FC Cincinnati, assuming they hold on for the next 4 minutes, will play the winner of Birmingham and Inter Miami. Birmingham of the USL Championship will host that match tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And the winner will be determined, or the host of the semifinal will be determined between the winners later this week. Barrial cutting into the 18. Barrial gets around 3 defenders, then finally knocks it off. Vasumanu.
I'm watching Kubo. It's kind of strange. As he accelerates, he looks fine. As he walks, he's struggling.
Yeah, he really is. Good catch in the moment. He is absolutely limping across the penalty area right now.
It's weird. Once he accelerates, he looks fine.
Barrial will take the corner from the near side. Mascaro will be the only center back to push into the penalty area, looking for a third. Murphy and Powell sit back in preventative shape. Barrial, an out-swinging ball. Arias drills it into the net. 3-0 Orange and Blue. Good night, Riverhounds. First goal for Santiago Arias in an FC Cincinnati kit, and it's the exclamation point in the Open Cup quarterfinal.
And it's again the Argentinian Alvaro Barreal that's involved as he curls a wicked ball in from the corner kick. Perfect to the top of the 6. Santi Arias comes in, the time is perfect, that technique is perfect, and he heads it into the top corner, and a great moment for him in front of the Bailey, of course.
One more chance to set off the smoke in the Bailey. 3-0 now to the orange and blue. And SC Cincinnati on the cusp of moving on to the semifinals for the second time in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Pittsburgh will continue to fight, although it's a losing effort at this point. Forbes in the midfield, spinning away from Kubo. Ibarra. Forbes, now Griffin. Back to Forbes. It falls onto the foot of Shounmi, and he pokes it past Ali Khan, so the clean sheet is spoiled late, much like it was against New York. The problem in that one was that it evened the match at 1 apiece. This won't spoil the match for Cincinnati, but certainly will spoil the defensive effort tonight from the orange and blue. Pittsburgh, obviously, with a sense of urgency to get play resumed. Tola Shounmi, who does not have a goal in league play this year for Pittsburgh, brings the Riverhounds back within 2. Ordonez for Pittsburgh gets around Ordonez for Cincinnati. Shounmi with a run up the right side. Murphy's going to poke it out to the near touchline. And Pittsburgh will have a throw-in inside of their final third, trailing by 2. Now, about 30 seconds of stoppage time as far as getting to 5 minutes left, but there was a goal, so I think we're going to go well beyond 5 minutes. Actually, there were 2 goals. Pittsburgh didn't have much celebration in theirs. Moreno trying to get to the ball. Lucho came out of the match. And then Wobodo can't find it on the near side. Pittsburgh pokes it away. Ibarra had the last touch. Barrial will have the throw-in. Much longer now with 5 minutes of stoppage gone. Well, Elvis Osmanovic let this one go. Mascara. They'll work it over to Santiago Arias. Moreno. Powell booms it across midfield. Ordonez fighting for position to get to the ball. A full-time whistle here at TQL Stadium, and they are dancing in the Bailey tonight. The orange and blue are on to the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup for the second time in franchise history. Important part for FC Cincinnati, partner. This one was done in 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, it was, listen, strong second half. I think obviously the first goal that we had talked about, even in the first half, when that came, it eventually came, 58 minutes into the game. And from that, really the game changed. And the changes, the subs, I think Kubo and Alvaro Barreal were instrumental in getting to the attack, and then an incredible second goal from Barreal that was absolutely blistering. And the third goal from Arias kind of just killed it. So it was as expected. Once they got the first goal, they kind of changed gears and upped the tempo, and I don't think anybody's shocked by the result.
So FC Cincinnati will await the result tomorrow of Birmingham and Inter Miami, hosted by Birmingham. And then after they know who they are playing, they will wait to see who hosts that match, hopefully here at TQL Stadium on August 23rd. If they win that one, they play in the final on September 27th. I get chills just thinking about that possibility. We will hear from Pat Noonan here shortly once he finishes up all his handshakes down on the pitch and get his thoughts on a second half in which his team scored 3 times and closed out Pittsburgh for the win. Again, goals from Brandon Vasquez in the 56th minute. An absolute rocket for Alvaro Barrial in the 71st minute. And then Santiarias in stoppage time. And Cincinnati, 3-1 victor tonight. Pat Noonan has the headset on. Coach, you are on to the semifinal. You called the first half sloppy. The second half certainly was not. And you saw better of your team. What impressed you the most?
I think we were just better with, how we moved the ball. I like the positioning of our center backs just to allow us to get over midfield and get our wing backs higher. And then it opened up some different ideas of, central passes, ball rotations. And then when plays broke down, we were in advanced positions to be able to win balls and then create some second chance opportunities that, maybe didn't allow them to be as organized. So that adjustment from our center backs I was pleased with. And then, I think we got, to be honest, fortunate on the first goal. Yeah, I think it was an offside call. But obviously the second goal is pretty classy, incredible finish, good delivery off the corner, and then an excellent header there at the end with Santi. So, we advanced. That was the goal, and I think the last 45 showed that they were ready for that.
Any kind of lessons learned from this? Obviously, it's tough when you're expected to win against an opponent that comes in as underdog, but just looking back, any big kind of trends to take from this game?
Well, I think in terms of what we've seen from, the last couple opponents of how they've defended and the challenges we faced, it's not easy when you're breaking down organized teams and numbers. And I think that's still where we have to grow as a team with positioning, with how we can receive balls in tighter spaces and how we play in 1 and 2 touches, how we face forward. I didn't think we received the play forward a whole lot tonight, but that's somewhere where we got to grow, and we'll work on that. But I think the mentality of these guys with the approach to the game was very good. I don't think they underestimated our opponent.
Coach, you have a date in the semifinals. The good news is it is not until August 23rd. Go enjoy this one with your team. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is head coach Pat Noonan joining us down on the pitch following a win tonight for the Orange and Blue. The final score, 3-1 over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They advance in the Open Cup to the semifinals for the second time. We'll talk all about it on the post-game report coming your way next on ESPN 1530.
I'm Israel Gutierrez. I'm hosting a new podcast called 4 Years of Heat. It takes you to Miami from 2010 to 2014, where LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade set the NBA ablaze.
Have an opportunity to team up with the best trio to ever play the game of basketball.
We'll take you inside those 4 monumental years with behind-the-scenes access and insight about one of the greatest teams ever assembled. 4 Years of Heat on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
TQL Stadium is the place to be on Wednesday night, June 21st, when FC Cincinnati take on Toronto FC at 7:30 for a midweek matchup. Celebrate Father's Day and Juneteenth with the Orange and Blue as your team fights for a win over Toronto. Round up your friends and family and take a midweek break with us. Be a part of the most exciting atmosphere in Major League Soccer at TQL Stadium. Secure your seats today. Visit FCCincinnati.com or call 513-977-KICK.
In this week's Marketers Report, we hear about the importance of local radio from Allison Griffin, head of marketing at State Farm.
iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, trusted influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
At Mercy Health, we believe your healthcare should always revolve around you. So these days, it's not just about how we care for you, it's where. Because whether at our place or yours, or wherever your day takes you, we'll be there with compassionate, personalized care. No matter how the world changes, your health will always be our top priority. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com to find a doctor near you.
You know what's great? Scoring a FC Cincinnati match at TQL Stadium.
You know what's not? The hassle of traffic getting downtown and finding an affordable parking space. That's why we're excited about Metro's new and improved bus service. Faster travel times, 24/7 service on select routes, and new buses with free Wi-Fi make getting to the game easier than ever. Now when it comes to seeing FC Cincinnati play, riding is winning. Learn more at ridingmetro.com.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And to handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100.
Continental, available at Discount Tire.
Mo Egger, tomorrow at 3 on ESPN 1530.
Back at the broadcast booth at TQL Stadium where the fans still celebrating an Open Cup victory, another one in the Queen City, FC Cincinnati. All time in this tournament now 12-4-3, 5-2-1 since joining MLS, and for the second time in club history and the first time since 2017, the Orange and Blue are going to play in a semi-final of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and a chance to one win away from a chance to play for a major trophy. And in a season where there is success in everything they do, it's not surprising they won today, but they had to fight to get to that second half and to make the plays. But boy, when they made the plays, they happened in a big way.
Yeah, definitely. It was what I expected, at least the first half for Pittsburgh. I think the first goal was always going to be kind of vital. If it had happened in the first game, the first half, and the entire game would have been very much different. But Pittsburgh, credit to them, they made it tough, they made it difficult. At times, they kind of antagonized a little bit. And FC Cincinnati had to show kind of composure and focus and discipline. And the second half, they did that. They battled to get the first goal. The second goal was spectacular. And then that third goal was very impressive as well. So I think for FC Cincinnati, it was a case of, just kind of sticking to the game plan, believing in themselves. And once that first goal came in, they changed gears. And I don't think once that first goal, for me at least, it was never in doubt when that first goal went in. First half, of course, there were some doubts, and, you kind of get a little bit nervous. But second half, no, it was FC Cincinnati kind of showed the difference, I think.
If you're FC Cincinnati and you're looking at the bracket, who do you want to play? Do you want to play another USL team where you're the heavy favorite, or do you want to play Inter Miami, a team that is down in MLS right now, but obviously that would be a more even, I guess, player-for-player competition?
I think you want to play the USL team if you had a choice. But, because, listen, we have to be very, very respectful of Pittsburgh and any other USL team.
Right.
Because FC Cincinnati's history and story was born in the Open Cup. And in my opinion, that run set FC Cincinnati up for success to get to this level.
Correct.
And so we can never discredit that.
Nope.
And the nature of this competition is the beauty about it, that everyone gets a chance, hopefully, to go on and play. And so for FC Cincinnati to face a Pittsburgh team that was aspirational, they wanted to go on and try to keep that run going. When they face the USL team again, it's not going to be any different. They want to continue to try to go out there. But again, FC Cincinnati, I think, are on a roll. They have a very strong team. Am I going to say it doesn't matter who the opponent is? You asked me the question, you would take the USL team.
Yeah, I think you're right. How about, I just noticed down on the field, you have Jeff Birding talking to Bob Lilly right now, staying out and talking to him. And obviously there's been great respect for Bob Lilly and what he has done at the teams that he has coached in the USL. But a neat moment. Danny Rivera, 26-year-old Colombian, went to the University of Vermont. He's been with Pittsburgh since 2019. He's over there talking to Santi Arias, also from Colombia. And I would imagine that as a young player, that's looking at one of your heroes, a guy that has 50-some caps with the Colombian national team. That's a guy that you've screamed your brains out for, and you just played against him and got to chat with him a few minutes after the match.
Yeah, listen, again, it's about respect, right? It's about the love of this game, making sure that you don't forget where you come from. Obviously, I'm watching Jeff talk with Bob here as well, and look, there's storied history in that conversation, I'm sure, as well. And there's ultimate respect as well. So that's great to see. And anytime a young player can speak with an experienced player too, like, that's part of development, Tommy. And it doesn't matter if the way or the result doesn't go in your favor. It's about kind of the respect afterwards and the learning moments, because the game's going to continue, right? And you want young people to grow, and you want to make sure that the people feel valued in what they've done to achieve in Pittsburgh again. And Bob Lilly have always been a historic club that put out a good product, and that have made it very, very difficult on these runs and in these cups. So no, it's a good occasion. I'm glad, of course, and happy that the result, came where FC Cincinnati justly won 3-1, but at times too there was some challenges, and there were some moments for Pittsburgh too, which credit to them.
All right, well, let's take a break and then talk about how we got to 3-1 and this win in the quarterfinal tonight for FC Cincinnati when we return on ESPN 1530. You're never offside at Wings and Rings. With elevated food and VIP service, we are dedicated to being the place all fans can enjoy the match. Whether it's enjoying a bit of banter, catching up with old friends, finding new favorites, or watching your team bring home the win, we invite all FC Cincinnati fans to kick back and enjoy life with us. Stop into any of the 12 Cincinnati area Wings and Rings locations or place your order online at wingsandrings.com.
You think buckling up is a personal choice? That it doesn't hurt anyone else? You would be wrong. Your choice could shatter the lives of your family, friends, and everyone you know. That's why we enforce seatbelt laws, to save lives. Think about that every time you drive. Buckling up isn't just a good idea, it's a choice between surviving a crash or not. Make sure you and everyone in the vehicle buckles up every time. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
There are lots of ways to make Skyline part of your game plan. You can pregame with friends in 5 ways at your favorite Skyline, or carry out conies to crush during the game. And Skyline is the only place for post-game Cholitos and chili cheese fries. Football, basketball, baseball, or soccer. High school, college, or pro. Doesn't matter. Game time is always a good time for Skyline. So get your game face on and get your Skyline game plan together. Feeling good. It's Skyline time.
Did you know that 90% of adults support organ, eye, and tissue donation, but only 60% are signed up as donors? There are nearly 110,000 people waiting for life-saving organ transplants in the United States and over 500 people in our community. Now, that number grows every day. Educate yourself on the powerful truths about donation and take a proactive role in your health and the health of your community. Regardless of age or medical history, anyone can be a potential donor. Register your decision to donate at lifepassiton.org.
Cincy 360, tomorrow at noon on ESPN 1530.
FC Cincinnati advanced to the semifinals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup with a 3-1 victory tonight over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and they will await their opponent tomorrow night as to who they will play, and then probably find out Thursday where they will play. If they advance beyond there, well, then they would play either Chicago, Houston, RSL, or LA Galaxy. At the end of our postgame, I'll ask Kevin who he wants to play of those 4 teams if we get to dreaming and beyond the semifinal. But let's take you through the 3 goals for FC Cincinnati, because this match was 0-0 at the half, and then it was Brandon Vasquez breaking it open in the 56th minute. Field worker to Miazga, now to Mascara, the halftime substitution. Mascara trying to drive it towards the midfield. Somehow it gets to Baji. That was a lucky break for Cincinnati. Now Acosta outside of the penalty area. Lucho puts it into the penalty area. Vasquez puts it in the back of the net. 1-0 to the orange and blue. That ball skipped over Baji as he kind of spun around the ball, touched it. He was credited with an assist, and Pat Noonan acknowledged that he thought Dominic Baji was offside. We thought Dominic Baji was offside. There is no VAR. Sometimes you get lucky, right? You get a break. They got a break in that ball just getting through, too. Remember, it was misplayed that he even got to Lucho Acosta, but nobody's going to apologize for getting a break.
No, I don't think there's going to be an apology on it. It was definitely offside, no doubt about that. No, and that's what happens, especially on cup runs. And we talked the last game about kind of the breaks that you get, and it was a very decisive goal too, because the game completely changed after that first goal, right? So it was a goal that the FC Cincinnati were, I don't want to say desperate to have, but they were certainly chasing it, and you'll take it all day.
Yep. Well, it opened up the game as you thought it would, and then there was just a magical moment in the 71st minute. Costa, the captain, on the far side. Out swinging ball towards Barrial, who hit it with his left foot. A rocket from Barrial on the volley out of the air. The Argentines connect. 2-0 to the orange and blue. And partner, I think you said it afterward. That's about as good as you're going to see, both from the ball from Acosta and then the skill from Barrial to score it in the way he did. It's simply incredible.
Yeah, I think I was laughing and smiling just because I know how Pat is, but he kind of downplayed the goal a little bit. I think he never his credit. Don't get me wrong, but he kind of downplayed it. I mean, and he knows this. I mean, the technique of being able to drive that ball from the corner, the technique of being able to hit it on the fly, through volley to place it into that top corner in a game, not practice. It takes quite a lot of skill, and credit to those two players because they practice a lot at that. So that is not luck. Nope. That is practice and hours and hours and hours of practice that comes to fruition. And when it happens, it's a special moment, especially for those two players.
And that made it 2-0 to FC Cincinnati. The exclamation point came in stoppage time when Santi Arias got his first in orange and blue. Murphy and Powell sit back in preventative shake. Barrial, an out-swinging ball. Arias drills it into the net. 3-0 orange and blue. Good night, Riverhounds. So that pushed the lead to 3 for FC Cincinnati. Santi Arias is a guy who, we talked about it, Kevin, a couple injuries for him. He hasn't really found himself in a rhythm, I think, yet with FC Cincinnati, but a good moment to get his first goal.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great moment for him and the fans as well. It's always special when you're doing it at the end of the Bailey too. But the timing again by Real, another assist, inch perfect cross as he sets up that corner kick for Arias just to move into the top of the six, and then great technique to absolutely head it into the back of the net, give the keeper no chance whatsoever.
So it was 3-0. Moments later, there was a goal from Tola Shounmi for Pittsburgh that made it 3-1, and probably irked Alacan more than anybody that he lost his clean sheet there. But his team advances, which means he will get another start. It'll be in a semifinal. We'll talk about that more as we go along and look at the bracket next on ESPN 1530.
It's the Marketer's Report. Today, Capital One's Chief Brand Officer, Mark Mentry, weighs in on building loyalty with customers.
Capital One has really worked to create amazing access moments for our customers. We will do sound check parties that only Capital One cardholders can get access to, and we can't pull that off without iHeart.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Hey, did you see that game last weekend? It was crazy.
Actually, we were there.
Wait, like in person? How'd you swing that?
Allegiant had a super affordable nonstop flight out there. And with how low the airfare was, buying tickets to the game was a no-brainer.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Allegiant.com right now.
Allegiant, the official airline of FC Cincinnati. Nonstop flights from Cincinnati to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, one way for as low as $38. Must be purchased by 7/3/2023 for travel between 6/16/2023 and 1/26/2024. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
TQL Stadium is the place to be on Wednesday night, June 21st, when FC Cincinnati take on Toronto FC at 7:30 for a midweek matchup. Celebrate Father's Day and Juneteenth with the orange and blue as your team fights for a win over Toronto. Round up your friends and family and take a midweek break with us. Be a part of the most exciting atmosphere in Major League Soccer at TQL Stadium. Secure your seats today. Visit FCCincinnati.com or call 513-977-KICK.
Orthopedic injuries shouldn't have to wait. And thanks to Mercy Health, they don't have to. Get a same-day or next-day orthopedic appointment and receive after-hours care at select locations by calling 513-347-9999 or visiting mercy.com. With locations where you need them and appointments when you need them, our comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine services get you back to doing what you do best. Mercy Health. Orthopedics for the universe of you.
Mo Egger, tomorrow at 3 on ESPN 1530. Tom Glenn and Kim McCluskey back with you as we check the U.S. Open Cup scoreboard here in the quarterfinals. Only one other game tonight that's taking place at Soldier Field right now. The Chicago Fire hosting the Houston Dynamo. Houston leading 2-1 in the 42nd minute. So getting closer to halftime of that match. There was a penalty kick early, and Houston with a 1-goal lead. The winner of that match will play the winner of RSL and the LA Galaxy, who play tomorrow night at 9:30. FC Cincinnati play the winner of Birmingham and Inter Miami, who play at 8 tomorrow night. That match is in Birmingham. The semifinals are set for August 23rd, and the final would be September 27th. FC Cincinnati now one win away from playing for a trophy for the very first time. Our final thoughts from TQL Stadium when we return on ESPN 1530.
In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
You're never offside at Wings and Rings. With elevated food and VIP service, we are dedicated to being the place all fans can enjoy the match. Whether it's enjoying a bit of banter, catching up with old friends, finding new favorites, or watching your team bring home the win, we invite all FC Cincinnati fans to kick back and enjoy life with us. Stop into any of the 12 Cincinnati area Wings and Rings locations or place your order online at wingsandrings.com.
You think buckling up is a personal choice? That it doesn't hurt anyone else? You would be wrong. Your choice could shatter the lives of your family, friends, and everyone you know. That's why we enforce seatbelt laws, to save lives. Think about that every time you drive. Buckling up isn't just a good idea, it's a choice between surviving a crash or not. Make sure you and everyone in the vehicle buckles up every time. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Where else can you get a steaming hot sub piled high with grilled meats and veggies, nestle up next to fresh cut fries, and a hand squeezed lemonade? This meaty, melty, massive hot mess is only at Penn Station. Put it in your face.
Cincy 360, tomorrow at noon on ESPN 1530. With the Golazo tonight from Alvaro Barrial, he now has 4 goals, 2 assists, and stands alone as FC Cincinnati's leader in goal contributions in the Open Cup all time. His 4 goals matched GB Fall, who scored 4 in 2017 in the Open Cup run for the Orange and Blue that went to the semifinal, and they are back in the semifinal. And that goal by Alvaro tonight ends up being the game winner because of the late goal conceded. So we look at the Open Cup, and it's interesting, Kevin, as you look at it, at least from the MLS teams that are involved right now. You have Inter Miami, whose season is a mess, and they just fired Phil Neville. You have Chicago, whose season is a mess. They've already fired their coach, Ezra Hendrickson. You have Houston, who's doing okay. You have RSL, who is not having a great season. You have LA Galaxy, who are an absolute mess right now and just fired their president. FC Cincinnati is the only team that's having a really good regular season that's still alive from Major League Soccer in this tournament.
Well, you just got to focus on the next game. Are you listening to what Pot says?
I am. I know, and that's my
all
point.
you have to do.
That's why we are where we are,
You
right?
focus on the next game, and that's it. And you don't become a mess.
You don't become a mess. We've seen it before, and FC the rain actually starting to fall now at TQL Stadium. How about that? It was predicted tonight. Maybe showed up a little bit earlier. I think look at Yuya Kubo's kids out all the way across the pitch, and Yuya's poor wife now dragging them back across as it is pouring here at TQL Stadium. So, all right, we get to play hypotheticals. I already asked you about who do you want to play in the semifinal. Let's say that FC Cincinnati gets on to the final because we get to play that game. Who would you want FC Cincinnati to play in the Open Cup final? Chicago, Houston, RSL, or LA Galaxy?
I think Galaxy would be a great
Galaxy, because we haven't seen them at all.
Yeah, I think based on history as well, I think that would be a great opponent. There's some connections obviously there with the staff.
Yeah, it's a great trip too if we have to go on the road.
Well, we'll have to put forth the request, I think.
Yeah, well, the request is in for the next 2 rounds. Don't worry about that. But I was just saying, if it's a lot better than going back to Salt Lake, say.
Yeah, I like Salt Lake too, but yeah, no, 100%. I'd prefer to be in LA.
All right, great breakfast in Salt Lake, so that's a positive. But either way, it's fun. It's fun to see FC Cincinnati in this tournament doing well, and I think it gives a lot of people warm feelings of 2017. When you're right, that set up what everything that this club is doing today.
I think above that too, it's just so impressive how you put these competitions together and continue with the consistency, right? I think that is the most impressive thing for me. I think even, again, impressive. I talked about the commitment from the fans. This was a Tuesday night. They've spent a lot of money to support this team so far this year, and they keep showing up. And that's a credit to them that invest the time and resources into that, because it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference even in this game. Yeah, think about the second half. Think about if this was empty, it would be kind of eerie when you play against those games, and it wasn't. So the fans got behind them again and kind of pushed them on to the heights that they knew they were capable of, and that, again, I just think there's so much commitment that goes into that. So I certainly appreciate that. I know that the club appreciates that greatly.
There is a shirtless Alvis Powell walking across the pitch with his child and his wife. They are the last 3 people out on the pitch. The families were all out there playing before this rain started to come down. There is a report, a rumor at this point, that my child scored that Alvis Powell jersey.
Oh.
So I'll have to confirm that when I get home.
Nice.
But that is the report right now. So good for young Sully.
You can't wash it. That's the rule, right? You
can't wash it?
No, you got to keep it as it is. It's soccer superstition. Look it up. I promise you.
What?
I'm being serious.
I mean,
look it up.
Okay.
I'll give you something to do tomorrow when you're having your lunch.
My Scooby snacks. All right. Well, partner, always a pleasure. FC Cincinnati gets the win tonight, and hopefully we will have one of these, August 23rd. We'll have a semifinal wherever it is, Birmingham or Miami or Cincinnati. You ever been to Birmingham?
No. Been to Alabama, but no.
First time for everything.
I think so.
All right. Well, we'll see where that is on Thursday. But great effort by the Orange and Blue, and always a pleasure, my friend. We'll see you, the 21st for the Toronto match?
21st.
All right.
Mark it in your calendar.
All right. Look forward to that one. In the meantime, Jeff Lorenowitz and I will have the call on a Saturday night. Again, 10 p.m. pregame, 10:30 kick as FC Cincinnati goes back to league play to take on the Vancouver Whitecaps. For our on-site engineer, David Abbott, from our broadcast partner, Kevin McCluskey, I'm Tom Gallagher. Thanks so much for tuning in to FC Cincinnati. The Orange and Blue win tonight. Move on to the semifinals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. So long, everybody.
Hey, did you see that game last weekend? It was crazy.
Actually, we were there.
Wait, like in person? How'd you swing that?
Allegiant had a super affordable nonstop flight out there. And with how low the airfare was, buying tickets to the game was a no-brainer.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Allegiant.com right now.
Allegiant, the official airline of FC Cincinnati. Non-stop flights from Cincinnati to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, one way for as low as $38. Must be purchased by 7/3/2023 for travel between 6/16/2023 and 1/26/2024. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
At Mercy Health, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. So these days, it's not just about how we care for you, it's where. Because whether at our place or yours, or wherever your day takes you, we'll be there with compassionate, personalized care. No matter how the world changes, your health will always be our top priority. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com to find a doctor near you.
Certified Piedmontese beef is unlike any other. With each bite, you will experience incredible tenderness and a juicy, beefy flavor like you've never had before. With half the fat and calories, you won't believe your taste buds. Cattle are raised across the Midwest on family ranches without the use of added growth hormones, antibiotics, or steroids. Experience the taste of real beef. Order yours at cpbeef.com. That's cpbeef.com. Proud sponsor of FC Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is known for great duos. Spaghetti and chili, Geta, and, anything. Now there's another great duo. The First Financial Bank FC Cincinnati debit and credit cards. Show your pride with every swipe and get great discounts on team merch and tickets. You'll also be eligible for exclusive promotions and giveaways. Apply today at bankatfirst.com/FC Cincinnati and score big the next time you get your favorite five-way. First Financial Bank. Member FDIC. All credit cards are subject to credit review and approval.
Interest rates may be high everywhere else, but now at Genesis Diamonds, you can get zero interest on any purchase. 5 years, zero interest financing with nothing down. Beautiful eternity bands, 1-carat diamond stud earrings, and more. Starting at only $50 a month. At Genesis, we are always looking for ways to do more for our amazing customers. So don't miss this. 5 years, zero interest financing. Imagine that $6,000 designer ring is just $100 a month. We'll even finance the sales tax. Now through July 1st only. And only at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road. On approved credit, see store for details.
It's summer break, and having fun outdoors means tracking more dirt in your home. That's why I trust the pros at Zerez Carpet and Outdoor Cleaning to keep my house insanely clean. And right now they're having their sizzling summer sale, 15% off all cleaning services, carpet, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts and more, all 15% off. For this month only, mention me, Bill Cunningham, 15% off your next services. Use the promo code SUMMERSALE when scheduling online at ZeroCincy.com, ZeroCincy.com.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
We now join ESPN programming already in progress on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
On ESPN Radio, 8:30 p.m. for the tip here on radio and ABC television. At the French Open, the men's top seed Carlos Alcaraz on to the semifinals after beating the 5th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas. Next up, he'll face the 3rd seed Novak Djokovic, who's trying to win his record-breaking 32nd Grand Slam championship.
Coming up Wednesday, I'll tell you what my Nuggets need to do in their game plan to win Game 3 and get a gentleman's sweep like I predicted. Did I predict that? I did now. Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
This is going to give a new meaning to the term frenemies. With the PGA Tour and Live Golf together, sort of as one, I guess. Drew Myers in for Ian Fitzsimmons. I'm Freddie Coleman. Thanks for joining us on Freddie and Fitzsimmons, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio as well as the ESPN app. SiriusXM Channel 80. Tune in and don't forget to tell your smart speaker to play ESPN Radio. The announcement on Tuesday, the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and the Public Investment Fund, which owns and operates Live Golf, will merge commercial operations, including PGA Tour members who met with PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan during a closed-door meeting. And the news came down to 3 little words: royalty over loyalty. The guy that wrote that is Jason Sobel. Does a great job covering golf. You can catch him anytime you want as part of the Action Network. And SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. Hit him on Twitter, Jason Sobel, TAN. Jason, when this news came down, by the way, thanks for joining us. What went through your mind about a lot of people were not happy about this decision being made today, combining the PGA Tour and the Live Golf Tour?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Great to speak with you again. Thanks for having me. What went through my mind? I honestly thought that this must be some sort of prank. I honestly thought that I saw a tweet from CNBC that had a 3-paragraph story saying, hey, there's a merger, PGA Tour and the Public Investment Fund and the DP World Tour, they're all getting together. And I was like, no, that's not a thing. Like, that's not an actual merger. And within 4 minutes, the PGA Tour had sent out a press release with that exact news. I can tell you, there's been a lot of events in my 20 years of covering the PGA Tour. There's been a lot of momentous, historic things that have happened. I've never been more surprised by anything, certainly anything off the golf course, than I was today. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And when I say anybody, I mean from Tiger Woods to Rory McIlroy to Phil Mickelson, even most of the major players involved in this whole scenario over the last 18 months. I don't think they even saw this coming. There were so few people that were involved in this. Jay Monahan, the PGA Tour commissioner, along with two of the policy board members helped him negotiate with the Public Investment Fund, Yasser Al-Rumayyan from the PIF in Saudi Arabia. And again, there were very few people that knew anything about this, and it was a huge surprise to, quite honestly, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody, I found out on Twitter, and I had to double, triple, quadruple check to make sure it wasn't a fake account now that there's no blue checks. But Jason, is there any kind of have you found out any kind of information as far as how long this conversations have been going on about this merger?
So apparently it was 7 weeks ago that Jay Monahan, along with Jimmy Dunn and Ed Herlihy, two members of the PGA Tour Policy Board, started at least in earnest talks with the Public Investment Fund folks, and those heated up to the point where they said, hey, look, we can put together a deal. We can start negotiating and putting things together. And I do believe that over time, this is going to be a mutually beneficial deal for all parties, not just the executives on the PGA Tour and the executives with the Public Investment Fund. It will work out for the players on the PGA Tour, for the players who are on LIV, on the DP World Tour. I think that a lot of things are going to look very much as they did pre-2022 when all the best players in the world played together on a regular basis. All of that said, there are going to be some hard feelings here. Mm-hmm. And there are some players who are very mad. I heard some things about the player meeting at Oakdale Golf and Country Club, which is hosting this week's RBC Canadian Open, where Jay Monahan met with the players at 4 p.m. Eastern time today and got an earful, quite frankly. It was a heated, debate-filled meeting that he had with the players, and they were not happy. A few of them called for his resignation, and Monahan continually kept his composure from everything I've heard, but said, look, this is going to be good for you guys in the long run. In the long run, you're going to make more money. You're going to have a better place to play golf. That's going to be more competitive. And I think that when they sit down and think about it over the long term, the players can understand that. But as of right now, in the moment, they have been told for the last year and a half, you have to stay loyal to us. This is the tour that you started on. Don't go over to, quote unquote, the dark side. Don't go play golf for those guys. They just want to hand you money and make you go play golf for them. You have to stay here, even though we can't give you that kind of money. And for the players that were loyal, especially those who had offers from LIV Golf, boy, this is going to be it's going to be a tough one to sell them on the fact that, hey, we stayed loyal and you told us to stay loyal, then you didn't stay loyal and you went for the money. That's exactly what you told us the players were doing who went to LIV last year.
Great stuff by Jason Sobel. Hit him on Twitter. Jason Sobel, TAN, does a great job as a golf writer for the Action Network and Sirius XM PJ Tour on Sirius XM Radio, joining Freddie Coleman and Q Myers and Freddie and Fitzsimmons on ESPN Radio. Kind of keeping it right here with Jay Monahan and players calling for his resignation. How tenuous is his position right now, in your opinion, Jason?
It's a great question, Freddie, because Jay has announced already. I don't know if he's announced it. I don't know if it was just part of the press release, but Jay Monahan will be the next CEO of the for-profit entity that is being put together with this merger. And what that means exactly, I'm not quite sure if he can do this and be commissioner, but because it's a for-profit entity, he doesn't need the votes from the policy board. He doesn't need the agreement of the players themselves. This is an appointed position, and apparently he's already been appointed by all the right people. So Jay Monahan is certainly going to land on his feet, whether people like it or not. And I know a lot of people don't like it right now, players included, fans included. But Jay Monahan, from everything we've been told so far, is going to be just fine. He's going to be the CEO of whatever this new entity is called. I don't know if it's going to continue being called the PGA Tour. He told us today on a conference call with the media that LIV Golf will not continue in its current form starting next year. We thought maybe after all this news broke that, okay, there'd be PGA Tour events. Maybe Brooks Koepka can play a PGA Tour event. There'd be LIV events. Maybe Rory McIlroy could play a LIV event. No, there won't be LIV events, at least as far as Jay sees it right now. And again, the world is changing very, very fast in professional golf. This could all be different tomorrow. But as of right now, there will be no LIV Golf. So I don't even know if it's going to be called the PGA Tour next year. But whatever this for-profit entity is, Jay Monahan will apparently be CEO presiding over it.
So at the end of the day, Freddie, that's how it all got done. That's the pockets that we're talking about, Greece. That's that situation. That's how this ended up getting done. Jason, is that correct?
Look, first of all, I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Did you guys watch all of Succession? Have you finished the season finale of season 4?
Yes, we have.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, okay. Well, I was going to say we can't be friends if you haven't, but okay.
My bad, Jason. My bad.
Right. I'm just going to tell you, I won't ruin it for you, but there are a whole lot of parallels out there. And I'm just saying, for those who have watched Succession, and I wasn't a Game of Thrones guy, so I don't know that, but apparently there's a lot of Game of Thrones analogies that can be made as well. But boy, you see the backroom dealings and how things work in business, and this is no different. And I know we'd like to think of golf as a game of honor and a pure sport. And just yesterday was what we call golf's longest day, where players, if they play well enough, you don't have to be a PGA Tour player. If you play well enough, you can play your way into the U.S. Open. This is what Tin Cup was all about, Rory McIlroy. And today we find out, no, it might be golf, but it's still all about money. It's all about business. It's all about the almighty buck.
No doubt about that.
Wow.
Just follow the money. It will lead you exactly to the answers you're looking for. Always appreciate you, Jason. Keep up the great work, and thanks for joining us on Freddie and Fitzsimmons, brother.
Anytime. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jason Sobel doing his Succession impersonation. Hit him on Twitter, Jason Sobel, TAN. Does a great job as a golf writer for the Action Network and also a Sirius X and PJ Tour. And I go back to something, Q, that Kevin Von Valkenburg, editorial director, No Laying Up, said on SportsCenter about what golf is going to look like with this merger with the PGA and the LIV Tour.
I envision golf to turn into one giant monopoly. That is essentially what we are looking at, which is interesting considering that one of LIV's biggest talking points throughout all this was that they were trying to make, golf not a monopoly. What's essentially happening is that the PGA Tour is letting LIV buy into its big bucket of money, and that the LIV gets to sort of have an investment in it and hope, I guess, in their sense, make a lot of money themselves. We're really going to see a lot of kind of a golf kind of essentially be run under one umbrella. That's sort of our understanding from talking to people this morning.
The question is, and it goes to this tweet I got from Roger Murdoch at Coleman ESPN saying, has Jay Monahan just put hashtag PGA Tour members on notice that they speak out against some future Saudi human rights violation, that it could be penalized like Enes Kanter was by when he played in the NBA?
Right.
Who's running this?
Right.
That's what I want to know based on Roger Murdoch. Hit us on Twitter, Coleman ESPN, at your boy Q254.
That's a great question. And going back to Jason's answers, I mean, it sounds like there's not a whole lot of definite, answers to any of this. It seems like it's all still kind of up in the air, but we all know that certain guys got their pockets greased and given great positions. And so that's how this ended up getting done at the end of the day. So this is really wild. And again, going back to a caller that we had earlier, Freddie, I wonder if this is something that could, at some point, I know this is in the early stages of golf, something that could trickle into other leagues as well.
Yeah, we shall certainly see, but I'm sure there are a lot of people on edge because just remember these words. It's no longer the PGA Tour, in my opinion. It's now the EML Tour for
every day, more life.
That's where we are right now. The PGA Tour and LIV Golf coming together and joining forces. Keep weighing in about this on Twitter. My handle at Coleman ESPN, Q Myers handle at your boy Q254. Freddie Coleman and Q Myers in for Ian Fitzsimmons on Freddie and Fitzsimmons. We get back to the NBA Finals. Game 3 tomorrow night. Series tied at 1 between the Denver Nuggets and Miami. That game about to be played in Miami. Who needs to win Game 3 more? Our answers are next. You keep it here on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Wednesday. All right, Heat fans. I know I'm public enemy number 1, but I'll tell you what your team needs to do to win Game 3. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 1530, Cincinnati's sports station.
Interest rates may be high everywhere else, but now at Genesis Diamonds, you can get 0 interest on any purchase. 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down. Beautiful eternity bands, 1-carat diamond stud earrings, and more. Starting at only $50 a month. At Genesis, we are always looking for ways to do more for our amazing customers. So don't miss this. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Imagine that $6,000 designer ring is just $100 a month. We'll even finance the sales tax. Now through July 1st only, and only at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road. On approved credit, see store for details.
Temu.com, that's TEMU.com, is giving you an exclusive opportunity to unlock a $100 shopping spree on their app. Temu is the most downloaded app on the App Store, and this is your chance to get a $100 coupon bundle you can use on millions of items. All you have to do is download the Temu app, enter the promo code IHEARTTEMU into the search bar, and you'll have $100 you can use to treat yourself. Just download the Temu app and enter promo code IHEARTTEMU into the search bar and start on your $100 shopping spree.
It's summer break, and having fun outdoors means tracking more dirt in your home. That's why I trust the pros at Zerorez Carpet and Outdoor Cleaning to keep my house insanely clean. And right now they're having their sizzling summer sale, 15% off all cleaning services, carpet, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts and more, all 15% off. For this month only, mention me, Bill Cunningham, 15% off your next services. Use the promo code SUMMERSALE when scheduling online at ZeroSensi.com, ZeroSensi.com.
Discover.
Got the save, pitched an inning, gave up a solo homer, but
The cashback.
Apparently.
With everything you have on your plate, earning your degree online seems impossible. But at Grand Canyon University, we specialize in helping you fit a master's degree in education into your busy day. Your graduation team, led by your own GCU counselor, provides you with the personal support you need to succeed. Achieve your goals with a plan and team behind you. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Levin. Mark Levin on 890 WLS. Tired of nonsense politics? Looking for more common sense? Join WLS mid-morning host Chris Plant for dinner and the right kind of conversation on Thursday, June 8th at the Crystal Tree Golf and Country Club. Native Chicagoan Chris Plant will share his thoughts about the 2024 presidential election and the new mayor of Chicago. Chris will bring his unique worldview and largely conservative libertarian values to Chicago. To get your tickets, click on events at WLSAM.com. Sponsored by attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Solutions.